hung upon all the words you said, breaking free from this conformity that you force on me. Everything I do is one big show. It's about damn time that I take control. Put me under a microscope and watch me take control. What's this? I finally read this helplessness. Tired of feeling like I'm upside down, so I'm gonna turn it all around. And and dear God, save my soul, 'cause it is flawed. Tired of feeling like I'm upside down, so I'm gonna turn it all around. Don't tell me that I need saving. Finally awake and living. Yeah. The pressure inside was building. I felt under attack.
Are your buddies gonna be watching the stream?
Yeah.
You same.
I'm not sure.
All right, guys. What is up? Sorry for the short delay. That is 100% my fault, guys. I apologize. But, guys, thank you so much for watching. And welcome to KTM Talk number 2. And today's topic, this week's topic, is Storm. We have 3 amazing guests, like always. The 3 gods of discussion that we have today. Number 1, up top, we have Jordan Beard. Right below him, we have Thomas Lippman. Hi. And right below that, we have Mr. Miguel. I'm not going to say his last name because I'm going to forget how to say it again, mess it up again, and embarrass him. But 3 amazing players. If you guys don't know, these are 3 of the best players at Nationals. I also invited Jordan Markle. He was definitely wanted to come, but unfortunately, he's in the hospital, so he wasn't able to make it. So everybody, please wish Jordan, give him, get better wishes. He's gonna be watching tonight. He'll be in chat. So if you guys have any questions for Jordan, he'll be there. Hopefully, he'll be able to talk to you guys as well. So it's really unfortunate, especially so close to the holidays. But guys, we still have 3 just unbelievable players. We have number 2 from Nationals, number 3 from Nationals, and some noob who got number 8 from Nationals. I don't know, Thomas Littman, this guy. I don't know what he's doing in here, but I had to get somebody, I guess. So I had to get him. But what I want to do, guys, is I want to let you guys kind of talk about yourselves a little bit, introduce yourselves while I finish getting everything ready for the stream. If you have any questions in chat, guys, please let us know at Kitchen Toe Med in the chat, and I'll do my best to answer questions as soon as possible and get your questions to these 3 amazing players. Remember, our goal today is to talk about everything we can about Storm, how to play it, how to play against it, whether it should be, maybe toned down a little bit, just everything we can. So we want to educate the community and help everyone out. And in my opinion, I couldn't have picked 3 better guests. So Jordan, you start off. You're up top. Let us know about yourself and, let us know, how you did in Nationals. What's up?
Hi, I'm Jordan. I got 3rd at Nationals, I think 15th in Swifts. Yeah, I played Howard Garden Storm. It was busted, and it should be banned. That's I got 1st at Toronto Regionals, and I did pretty good. Most of the events around in Toronto, I've been the beginning of set 1, so I know Dragon Ball pretty well, and like I play every day, like all the time. So yeah, that's me.
Nice. A little foreshadowing, I think, with what you think about the changes that need to be made to to Storm. That's awesome. So you do live in Canada. That's something as well. Just an amazing player from an amazing country up there. There's a couple nerds that live up there that I know. Thomas, Mr. Lipman, how you doing, sir? Why don't you introduce yourself? First of all, I want everybody to know, even though Thomas obviously didn't get top 3 with Storm like he should have, he is an amazing player. I want everybody to know this because I have a funny story about Thomas that I always tell. And what we do when we do these events is normally like the first couple rounds, so usually round like 1 through 6, 7, something like that. We try to keep it with fun decks, right? We try to show fun decks on stream, keep the community interested. We always choose good players, but we always try to keep kind of fun decks. And then usually the last round, we put table number 1 on there so everybody can see the best people. The last like 4 events I've done, table 1 is always Thomas. And it's just so funny because like we go to table 1 and here comes Thomas. I'm like, Thomas, come on, man. Like it's like he's just always at table 1. Every time. It's so funny. So just a great player. Thomas, talk a little bit about yourself and what you decided to play at Nationals.
Hey, well, you guys know my name is Thomas Lipman. I played Storm. I'm here locally from Florida. Shout out to G Sports Entertainment for sponsoring me. I appreciate it, of course. I've used Storm for the past 3-4 events, from Atlanta to Orlando Regionals to PPG's 2K. I did pretty good in all 3 of them, or 3-4 of them. Went undefeated at Nationals with Storm. I'm a scrub overall, so we're fine. It's cool.
You're like, yeah, just a scrub, don't worry about it. That's all I gotta say. Awesome, Thomas. Definitely just an amazing player. One of my favorite things about your list over Miguel and Jordan is that you play Trunks. We're getting a little bit of that before, but you've been playing Trunks for a long time, so it's really good to see you stick with the leader and do just amazing with it. Next up, we have Mr. Miguel. Miguel obviously taking down number 2 at Nationals like a freaking boss. Definitely was an amazing finals to commentate. We were a little worried about it because it was Storm versus Storm, so we're like, here we go. It's going to be super boring. But you and Jordan did disappoint. It was an amazing game to watch. Miguel, why don't you talk a little bit about yourself and what you played at Nationals?
Yeah, so my name is Miguel. Got second at Nationals. And I played Hero Storm. As you guys saw, it was first, second, and third. I wasn't sure what to play for Nats, I think like most people, but I ended up deciding on Hero Storm because it didn't really have any really bad matchups except for Hercule. I'm from LA. I've only topped a few regionals, like Portland regionals and LA regionals, but I'm pretty proud of myself for my performance at Nats.
Awesome. No, definitely. You did an amazing job at Nationals. It's great to see a player coming to Nationals just doing fantastic. Honestly, Miguel, I don't think I've really seen you at too many events, that I've commentated on. So it was great to see you come in and just wreck and just do a fantastic job. Now, one of the things I do want to talk about while we're getting into this, like I said, guys, please feel free to ask as many questions as you guys have. We'll try to answer them as soon as possible. And again, I'm really sorry that we kind of started a little late. It's 100% my fault. So the first question, guys, is with new players. Let's say you're a new player, you want to get into Storm, you want to learn how to play it. What is the best way for players to start playing Storm? What's the most important thing in your mind when playing Storm? What is the best skill to learn? How do you improve with it? Jordan, I'll let you start off with this question. If you were talking to a new player, how would you get them into Storm? What would you teach them to do first?
Well, I would tell them what to hold in their hand. Okay. So I would tell them keep a yellow, hold Bardock and go 10, and mulligan everything else. And probably after that, I would tell them make sure you swap properly.
Ooh, what do you mean by that? By swap properly, like what do you mean?
So if you pick up your Bardock before you play your swap target, you're technically saying I'm swapping it to nothing.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah, so you should swap. You have to play your Go 10 and like declare Bardock swapping, play the Go 10 or the Goku or whatever you're swapping into, and then return the swap target back to your hand.
Absolutely. That is actually a great tip. That's something I've seen a lot of people do on stream. They'll mess that up. I know sometimes the judges will step in and kind of clarify what's going on. But yeah, that's a great tip as well. Anything else that you would tell them about?
Well, there's more advanced things like comboing an unyielding before you play your Goten and things like that, so that you can continue on your first swing, like on your first when you play Bardock. If you have unyielding, combo it then on your first swing before you play Goten, so that way, if it gets negated, you can continue your plays.
Okay.
So, like, they can't stop you, tap you out with negates.
Okay, yeah, that's actually something I want to talk about too. Now that you're on that subject, and we'll kind of derail just for a second here, because this is something I've noticed a lot of players do poorly when I've commentated matches on stream. And just to let you guys know, I did play Storm this week at my locals, and because I've never actually played the deck at an event before, so I wanted to play because I knew I was going to do this video, and that's actually something that I've noticed. I was like, man, I have to combo unyielding on my Bardock attack because they counter my goats and I'm screwed. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can't continue. Yeah. So I think a lot of people make that mistake. So what's some, and on that note, I think that's a great way to punish Storm, is that if you see them, going to attack and you're like, wait a second, that's their last attack, they're tapped out, I'm just going to negate this. They can't ready the energy. Now we can go on. Do you guys agree with that? Do you guys get punished like that sometimes? Is that a good way to?
Maybe, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yep.
So if they make that one misstep.
Yep.
Right.
You sequence that wrong, you're getting punished.
Okay. Sick. All right. So moving on, Thomas. How about you? What's some tips you would give new players starting off to play, Storm? How would you help them get into it?
Well, first I'd ask if they didn't even know any of the other cards. Like Storm, you have to be an aggro player. Like, there's obviously like different styles. If you're not an aggro player, then it's not your kind of deck. That's the first thing I would say. If you are an aggro player, then you kind of have an idea of what your strategy is to go face and don't stop.
Right.
Obviously, then if they are the aggro player, I would tell them the cards you'd want to keep are, of course, Bardock, Goten, Unyielding, and even though like there's a few different strategies you can do with Storm. It depends on the leader also. I know they use Hirudegan and I use Trunks, so my concept is a little different than theirs.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, pretty much like know when to attack, when to just say, okay, I have 3 extra attacks, but I don't need to do anything. I can have a follow-up for next turn.
Yeah, no. On that note, and this is something that I struggled with whenever I played, and this is I'm curious to see if anyone else did too, or if you guys have any ways to help me out here a little bit about this. In every matchup, do you guys want to just attack as much as you can every matchup? Are there certain matchups where you're like, you know what, I don't really want to go, because I'm always in this game, I'm terrified to attack my opponent. I'm like, I'm giving you a card, this sounds terrible, so I always want to like try to find the perfect way to do it. Do you just go all out from turn 1? You just attack as many times as you can. Turn 2, attack as many times as you can. Or turn 3, because I noticed in the finals, Miguel, you guys played much like game 1. You guys went all out. Game 2 and 3 though were much more like you guys were more defensive. You guys played around Flying Nimbus a lot more. Like, is there any situations where you guys don't play just all out aggro? Like, I'm going to hit you as hard as I can, as fast as I can. Whoever wants to answer. Thomas, you can start if you want. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Against certain matchups, like Shenron, of course, they don't really attack for the first couple turns, so you just want to go, all your guys, go in, let's do this. Against like androids and stuff, like more tempo decks, even mono blue, you don't want to go all in, because once they drop a defender or something, you got to have some resources to kill that problem card.
Mm-hmm. Okay, awesome. That's a good tip. How about you, Miguel? Any tips at all against any certain matchups you might not want to go all in on, or you might not want to attack a whole lot against?
Yeah, against androids, you have to keep in mind that they have the negate, the new one.
Mm-hmm. The sparking. It's like is a sparking death ball or whatever. Yeah.
It almost, if they have a green open, it almost stops you from attacking with Bardock altogether, because then you can't swap anymore.
Now, if they do have, that's actually another good thing to talk about. So let's say they do. Let's say they have a green open, and you're like, crap. Do you ever play out like Grandpa Gohan and swap with him into like a Goten and just attack into it just to get it out of the way so you can continue with? Is that a good way to play around it, or do you just?
No, I would just play Bardock and then take a life, swap out, back with Goten.
Sure.
It's almost like they have Crisis Crusher on me.
Okay, that makes sense. Sure. Okay, and then once they use it, then you just continue.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Is there any other cards you guys play around at all when attacking? Like Mafuba, is that a card that you guys worry about at all? Like getting your Bardock Mafuba or Flying Nimbus, anything like that you guys really worry too much about?
No,
Not
man.
Mafuba. Not Mafuba, because if they use 2 energy, then I'm okay with that.
Right.
Yeah, that's their last energy. Like, okay.
Yeah, thanks. I'll trade that. Yeah, that's a good trade. I'll take
Even
my
Nimbus,
Bardock.
it's like they Nimbus, they lose 2 cards, and I'm gonna gain 2 cards because I still have 2 swings with Goten and a leader who's gonna draw me 1, and then another Goten, so I'm plussing like a million, and you're like neg.
Sure,
So go ahead, Nimbus. That's fine.
Go ahead. All right. That's cool. All right. As long as you don't attack with your leader first, right? It's like the only downside, right? Okay.
Yeah, definitely don't do that first.
Yeah.
It's so funny though, Nimbus, blew so many people out the first week it came out. I'll never forget that because people were so just programmed to always attack with the leader first, get that extra card, and see, what if it's going to change your turn at all. People just like that was like automatic, and it happened all the time. I see people get blown up by it all the time, and I still do. I'm bad, so I do it quite often. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about some cards that are in Storm. We're not going to talk about every card that's in Storm. Obviously, don't have that much time, but what I do want to do is I want to go through a little bit. I want to talk about these cards individually, and just let you guys talk a little bit about them, tell you what you think about them, how important they are into the deck. The first thing we're going to talk about is everyone's favorite card in the deck, and that is 1-drop Bardock. That's Bardock the Progenitor. In case you guys don't know, this is the 1-drop, has swap 2 for free, costs nothing to do so. The downside, in quotations, is that when it comes into play, you take a life. I'll let Jordan talk a little bit about why that's not the case. But yeah, that's the card. 10,000 attacker too, which means it can be a threat at the beginning. So Jordan, talk a little bit about Bardock. How pivotal is this card in your deck, and how do you use this card, to get an advantage throughout the game?
Well, it's your starter. You have to have that to do anything. You're not trying to play Goten or Goku or anything for more than 1 energy. Everything in swap costs 1 energy. But this, right when you play it, you take a life. So it's essentially a 0. But then it gets to attack. And that attack is busted because now they're either wasting a card or taking a life, which is essentially once you play Bardock with the swap after you get to play Goten, it's essentially a double strike 1-drop that draws you 2 cards, and they're losing 2 cards or taking 2 life, and it just, even if they take 4 life, then you're like, okay, well, you have so many ways to finish them from 4, and Bardock with any swap target makes it so easy to get them down to 4. So by the time you get essentially 2 swings for each life you have with Bardock and a swap target. So that's a lot of chances to kill your opponent before you even get to 4. And once you awaken, you can just stop using Bardock. Gohan. Grandpa Gohan? Yeah, Grandpa Gohan. And yeah, this card just gives you so much advantage and puts so much pressure for a 1 cost, 1 yellow.
Just 1 yellow, gotcha. Yeah, get a card, get an attack, get another card. Not to
mention, it's searchable by a 0 cost.
Oh my gosh, that card is amazing. By the way, I love that card. 0 draw 1 essentially is so good, so good. Okay, so talking Bardock, next question goes to Thomas. We have a question in chat from Sterling, my boy Sterling. I love Sterling. Says, and this is something I should have talked about before. Says, what about Pilaf? Talking about ways to counter Bardock, right? The swap mechanic. So let's talk a little bit about that, Thomas. I'll let you talk about this. What's some ways to deal with Bardock here? Remember, guys, you guys can chime in. Jordan, Miguel too. Don't feel like you guys can't chime in. You guys are more than welcome to tell Thomas to shut up and start talking as well. We talked about the Sparking Death Ball. Is that what it's called? Is it called Sparking Death Ball? Or is it called something else? I feel like I always get that card name wrong. But we talked about the new Android Negate. But yeah, so what about cards like Pilaf that try to interrupt that swap mechanic? What's some other ways to deal with it?
Other ways like Crisis Crusher can hurt it. Pilaf is really good. I really love the card actually. Especially if it's the first 2 turns, even though you get to charge a blue if it's not your core color. It gives that fear factor already, because once you peel off the first swap, it's kind of hard for them to keep on going unless they have another Bardock or a Grandpa in their hand. Other cards that can affect Storm probably are like just instant blockers, or even like how Shenron's using Android 16. It's just a blocker revenge, so you're guaranteed to restand if they don't out combo.
Yeah, actually, it's one of my decks I built for locals. I used Yajirobe. I thought that was pretty effective. It was a little cost prohibitive, but in Soul Striker, it essentially only costs 1. And I felt like it was a good way to kind of pressure the Bardoks as well, where you have to attack into it. Like, get your Bardock, you know what I mean? So that what it does is it makes him just not swap with the Bardock. You know what I mean? So like that gives you like maybe one more swap. Is there any other cards that you could think of that guys, Miguel, Jordan, anyone that would help fight against Bardock here?
Oh yeah, Android 16. If you're a Wish Leader, well, Shanron, and if you go first and you're able to bring out an Android 16, then that could be a problem for the Storm player, because you can't ever attack with Bardock because it's guaranteed to kill something, and if you overcommit to killing the Android 16, then they're just gonna let that go, and you're probably gonna lose just because you don't have enough resources. So I think Android 16 is really good if you can bring it out. A couple people did.
Yeah, actually, haven't played against that card forever. Like, it was probably set 2 last time I played against that card, and I was playing against it on stream the other day, and the guy got Android out, and I attacked, and he blocked, and then he comboed to save it, and I was like, this guy's saving his blocker. I don't care that he restood it. And I was like, that's right, I'm stupid. I'm getting blown out right now. And it's like, it is this card. It's like really hard to beat, and like you said, even if you over combo to kill it, they just bring it back out for free with Child's Wish, and it's like, okay, well, they just use 1 card to get it back. I had to spend 3 cards to kill it. Like, just it seems like an uphill battle. Yeah. Okay. Anything else you guys want to talk about with Bardock? Actually, one thing I'll talk about with Bardock, and this is, I guess, similar to Bardock. It's also maybe something to talk about just as the first turn of the game. So if you go first, okay, this is always something that I was always wondering about this deck. If you go first, do you just play Bardock, take a life, swap into Goten and pass, or swap into Videl, pass? Or do you just say, I don't want to use my life without being able to attack with it and not do that? Like, how do you guys approach the turn 1, with you going first with Bardock? Do you play him? Do you not? How does it work?
I usually play the Bardock and swap into Goten and then pass, because there's not a lot of cards that can get rid of Goten immediately.
Sure.
So it's an extra attack on your turn.
Yeah.
Even though you're wasting 1 to play the Bardock, but it also gives you more energy to work with on your following turn.
Okay. Yeah, it also depends on your matchup. Like, sometimes I don't use my first energy, like especially in the mirror match. If you kind of want to like save it, if you do charge blue, then you have Sensu for the comboing. But if you have the yellow, just in case you have the Nimbus or something simple.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Definitely.
Yeah. The only thing I wouldn't do that play against is the mirror match, or maybe Shenron. Just because a lot of Shenron players play Crisis Crusher, so like. Mostly against every other matchup, I wouldn't even swap into Goten. I would just play Bardock and leave it. But if I think they might play Crisis Crusher in their build, I won't do it. I'll just swap into Goten.
Okay, and you're keeping the Bardock out there to get the extra attack in, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I said, each attack is like it's just more value, and like the extra energy for next turn. It's like you have 3 energy on turn 2 instead of only 2.
Okay.
And you also like read your hand. Like, if I have another Bardock in my hand, there's no punishment for leaving a Bardock on board.
Sure. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, and then also, do you guys tend to energy your Bardocks quite often after you have like 1 in hand? Okay.
Yeah,
I did too. I just didn't know if that was right or not. I was like, maybe I'm doing something wrong, but it felt like that was just the no-brainer card to energy. Okay. Okay, so we have a couple questions in chat, so I'm going to try to, stay on script as much as I can, but I also want to answer these questions, guys. I want to do a better job at that. The first question comes from Camwill on Twitch, and he says, let me kind of read through some of this here. He goes, Storm is the perfect aggro deck with how efficiently it plays. A question for the committee is the hot button topic and this stuff we actually started talking about just in the pre-show, like when we were just trying to get the stream to work. The hot button topic of Sensu bean and unyielding. Do they think one should be banned, both should be banned, or none should be banned? This is a topic that I constantly see around Facebook and locals, and I want to hear their opinions. This is something we're going to talk about anyway, but we might as well do it as a user question. So I'll pop up the first, I guess, card to talk about in that list. That's Sensu bean. So first of all, just to go through the list, do you guys think that Storm should be hit? Should it be banned? Should there be some things that should be hit, or do you think it's fine? People just need to play better, get better noobs, or what do you think? Like, how do you guys feel the current state of Storm or 1-2 swap is currently?
I don't think Storm should go out completely, because if it does, then all you'll have are control decks. Some people want that, but you need to have aggro too to kind of check control decks. Shenron would just be crazy if
right.
Storm wasn't a thing.
I agree. Thomas, Jordan, what do you guys think? I don't know Jordan's opinion on this. What do you think? You think
Yeah,
it should be banned at all? You think it's perfectly fine?
Yeah, I need to hear from you.
Yeah, Jordan, I need to see what you think.
I agree. I agree that Storm maybe like okay, Storm definitely needs to be nerfed for sure, but they can't nerf it. Like what they're doing right now is making all these things that like Storm has to play around, but like it doesn't really nerf it. But so I'm hoping these silver bullets nerf it enough, like slow it down enough that other decks like can like side really like effectively, because the side cards now for Storm are just not good enough, and like these new ones might actually do something to make it so that your games 2 and 3 against Storm might actually be winnable, and the fact that some other people might be maining it might make it so game 1 is winnable. But right now Storm is just too broken, and it has not. I don't think it has anything to do with unyielding, and Sensu Bean definitely is not the reason Storm is broken. Sensu Bean is probably the only thing that it is the best answer to Storm. Like not even Nimbus. Just there's no answer to Sensu Bean. There's answers to Nimbus. There's answers to Android 16, like the combo Goten, and there's answers to this new Goku and new Boros, but Sensu Bean can't get banned.
Right.
Without Sensu Bean, your defense is just really, really like
it loses the blue concept. Like
yeah, it really does. It really does.
Well, let's talk about Sensu Bean for a second since we have it up on the screen here. And this is something I struggled with at locals quite a bit when I was playing the deck, and I was confused a little bit about it. When my opponent would Sensu Bean, I didn't know if I should just stop attacking. Do I just go, okay, Sensu Bean, I'll pass turn. I don't want to commit any more cards. I don't want to have to tackle Goten and combo something unless it's like Trunks or something, obviously, like the cards that you would normally use. Or do I just power through it, and if they Sensu Bean a second time, then pass? Like, how do you play around Sensu Bean? What's the best way to do it? Because you can't stop them from doing it, right? Like you guys said, you can't like counter it. You can't. If they do it, they're going to do it, right? So how do you guys usually deal with it?
Go. You can go.
If it's one Sensu Bean, I usually try to power through it. It's not too much because you're always unyielding anyway, so you're always matching at least. Right. And you also have a Dynasty Goku, so if they're unawakened and they Sensu Bean, they're at 15, but your Dynasty Goku can still pressure them. So do that. And it's also important because your first couple turns, 1, 2, and 3, are really important. If it goes beyond that, you're gonna lose. Maybe. You run out of steam.
Right. No, not all the time.
Unless it's a mirror match, then I guess.
But yeah, I feel like you should power through at least for the first couple life. Like, in Trunks, like if you use the Trunks leader, you can easily combo with any card and get a free card. So essentially, you're getting a free combo piece.
Sure.
And I mean, if you get them to 5-4 life, that's all you need. I mean, they can awaken on their turn, but you got what you needed. So.
Right. Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, it was definitely something I struggled with a lot. I mean, usually, honestly, I would just pass. I'd just be like, okay, like I don't think I really want to fight through this. I'm not in any danger of dying. Most people play a lot of slow decks on my locals, but then when I played against a deck like, one deck that one of my buddies plays is actually it's Shinron Dogs. It's like the universe, like is it Universe 9 or Universe 2, whatever. Like the dogs that like lock you out with like right. And I'm like, I have to kill this deck as soon as possible. So if he Sensu Bean, I just keep going. I'm like, I don't care. I have to go in. But one card I think that's really important with that, and I don't want to get too off topic here, but I do want to talk about it just briefly, is and Miguel, you talked about it, was the Dynasty Goku. I found that being not in a lot of your guys' lists. And to me, this is like my boy. I love this card. So is there a reason why, some of you guys didn't run it? Is there a reason why you think it's good or bad? Like, what was the big, what was the idea about this card? In what situations do you think this card is good?
For Goku?
Yeah, Dynasty Goku.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, I know I ran 2 at Nationals. I'm slowly liking it more and more after realizing its power. Successor can search it, so I mean, you don't always have the Goten, so sometimes you have to have like a beater. It's just really good card overall, especially if they start doing mass sand to pop your Gotens. It's another swap target.
Yeah, I love this guy. And what I'll do for fun before we get out of here is I'll actually bring my deck out on stream and we'll just talk about how bad it is. And you guys can make fun of me for all my choices and tell me how bad it is and tell me how you guys would design it better. But
oh, great.
Yeah. George's like, yeah.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, challenge accepted. All right. So back to Sensu Bean a little bit. So I agree with you guys with everything you guys said. I think it's not the problem. The thing I love about Sensu Bean the most is while it's a very powerful offensive card, it's much better as a defensive card. You get consistent value as a defensive card, and so I think that's a well-designed card. Right? I think it's great. There's a lot of discussion about Sensu Bean. Honestly, we could do a whole video just about Sensu Bean, but I don't think that's the problem. Let's move on to another card that was mentioned in that, and that is Goten. Do you guys feel like Goten is the problem with Storm? Do you think if you take Goten out, Storm would be bad? It would never work again. How do you guys feel about Storm? I know we did agree that Storm needs to get hit a little bit. What do you think Goten is the issue?
I think Bardock is the real issue. Like, all you have to do is hurt Bardock, and the deck nullifies itself pretty much because you don't gain the free resources. Like, if it's just you have to have a Goku lineage leader.
Yeah.
I mean, you can run the Bardock, but you can't do anything with it.
Right.
I really wish instead of these silver bullets and things, they just made Bardock. They made swap leader specific. So Goku's lineage swap can only be with the Goku's lineage leader, and that would just end all of this. Like it would be a perfectly balanced deck, and there would be no more calling out for this and that, and it would be an easy errata because all you could just do is change the rulings and online, and one would understand. Okay, Goku lineage swap. It's easy fix.
Absolutely. I mean, high five.
Yeah.
Honestly, I completely agree. I think I've always thought Bardock's the problem. I talked about this about 2 months before Nationals. I talked a lot about Bardock and Goten and why I thought the problems were. But I mean, you could simply change Bardock to you have to have a yellow leader even. That's something they've done with other cards. They've already done those kind of erratas before.
Okay, well, look at the Frieza, the new green Frieza, right? Its effect is good. You can take a life, and it's a 10k, and it has like these little traits that make it good, Frieza's army and things like that. But it can be played in any deck that plays green energy. You could do the same with Bardock, but you can't use swap in anything other than Goku's lineage. So you can never swap into a Goten. Playing a Goten for 2, that's fine. I don't mind if they tap on turn 2 to play a Goten. It's when it's turn 1, they're playing 3 Gotens, 4 Gotens. That's when it's like, okay, that's insane. Like, playing 3 or 4 1-drop, like, all of 1-drops, even the 15k, essentially is a zero cost, like, sorry, a 1-drop, 15k that's a 0. It automatically draws you a card because you're taking a life with Bardock, and that's how you're going to play it. Then you swing at your leader, and they lose a card from defending it. Because most of the time when you're playing that, they're either Sensu Beamed, which they already lost a card, they're trying to defend life, or they're Awakened. So it's like the value that Bardock gives all your other cards, it's the combination of them combined that make it broken. It's not unyielding in any blue deck that needs to untap 1 or 2 attack when they combo unyielding. That's not broken. There's no brokenness in someone comboing a Sensu Bean and untapping 1 energy. That's fine. It's been okay up until this point. It's just when they're gaining so much value from playing 1 Bardock and then swapping into, even without Goten, just a 15k beater, it's busted. Everyone knows how busted. Everyone knows how busted all these cards that cost 1 and gain value over time and stop attacks.
No, absolutely. No, you're absolutely right.
They're the best cards in the game, and they're all costing 1. Like, the one thing that Bandai is doing is just keeps making all these busted 1-drops, and they're insane. They're the most bang for your buck cards in the game. Always, every time.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem with 1-drops in this game, and something that I think that Bandai is slowly learning, is that they are, unlike games like Magic or other games where you have like a 20 life total, a 1-drop 1/1, it takes 20 turns for that to kill you. In our game, at worst, it takes 8 turns for that card to kill you, right? And that is something they can do, right? And once the 1-drops are scary in this game, they can kill you, and often you die quite frequently to them. And so I think that's something that they'll have to learn, and I think they are learning it. But yeah, like a 1-drop 10k, that's scary. You combo 2 cards, that can pressure, that makes a Awakened leader have to use a card. That's huge.
Yeah.
Especially when it gains a card when it comes into play.
It gains a card.
Right. I completely agree.
2 attacks, like, oh my gosh. And an attack in this game is like automatic value because the attacker always wins the battle. So you have the way. It's so unfair. Like a Bardock is actually so unfair. Like I don't know, with the swap ability, right?
Yeah.
Without that, without the swap ability, it's fine because it does essentially it's a Kaba.
Mm-hmm.
Like
no, absolutely, and this is something that I talked to them a little bit about at Gen Con last year. Not the last one, but the last one we talked about them. I think they think the take a life mechanic is a downside.
No,
I really think that they
it's only a downside when you're at 1 life.
Right, exactly. Exactly, and like, I talk to them about that quite often. It's like, when I'm playing Vegeta leader, right, back in set 1, taking a life was awesome. Sometimes I would take a life and I'd attack my opponent for critical. I would just take a life because I want a card. You know what I mean? And that's or I want to awaken or whatever. It's very, very good. And I agree that Bardock is definitely in a position where, it's not a downside. If it went to drop, sure, that's a downside. But going to my hand all day long, go ahead, please, continue.
Yeah, I mean, a little off topic, but like after set 2, I believe that's when I learned like aggro was a little crazy because it was when the Gotenks draft leader came out, and you can do like 1-drop Kaba. Turn 2, you do the kamikaze attack to get 2 15Ks. Like back then, like getting that much board presence was pretty decent. Like 2 15Ks is a little difficult turn 2.
Yeah, just a little tough. Absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. You're right. I mean, like Jordan brought up a great point. I mean, there was certain games I played at locals where I had all 4 of my Gotens out on turn 1. It's like good luck. Even if you kill one of them, it doesn't matter. I still draw 3 cards next turn.
Yeah, how many attacks do you get?
Right, exactly. One. That's cute. I mean, and then even at that point, you can even afford to protect them. You know what I mean? Because you just get those cards back.
Like,
so.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just protect them. It's fine. Now, here's a question with Bardock that I think, in my opinion, shows how good it is. I made a deck on last week's Workshop Wednesday, and it was Champa. And I realized something I could do is I could play Bardock out, take a life, give him double strike, attack, and then swap him back to my hand for free, play him out again, take a life, give him double strike again, attack him for double strike again, and just keep doing that if I wanted.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. It's you know what I mean. There's just so much value with this card. Not to mention, you can combo a Bardock Ape with him and put in there. There's just so much value this card gives. Do you guys?
I mean, that Bardock Ape play is like so neg when in comparison to the other plays, and it should be so broken.
Right? Yeah. No, absolutely. So good,
right?
No. Like, turn 1.
That should be the only thing it's doing.
Right.
But no.
But my question is, do you guys think if they changed it so you couldn't swap to itself, would that help tone down this card at all? Is it still super broken? Like, do you guys think that's a good ruling? That's something I get asked every time I play Bardock on stream. Someone asks me, "Hey, do you think you shouldn't be allowed to do that?" What do you guys think?
Wait, what did you mean by swap into itself?
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, you can pay 1, play Bardock, take a life, and swap it back in your hand without playing anything, and then just play itself out again. I'm sorry.
I got you.
It was very misleading. I'm sorry, but yeah, I just meant swap.
I mean, that is broken.
Yeah,
they should just not make that rule. Like, I don't know why they have to give it that too. Like, just make it more overpowered. That's like a little nerf that should have been nerfed like first patch. Now we're on like the 4th. Like, it's still busted. Right. You know what I mean? Like, it's
right.
They should have had that. That should, like, I don't know, like that. Sometimes whatever. That's even if it wasn't like that, it would still be busted. So
I feel like they need to clarify more on their wording and rules. That's the main thing, because there's some cards that work and cards say the same thing, but one little change and it's completely wrong.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree 100% with you guys. Anyway, okay, so the last thing to cover Cam Will's question is unyielding. That's another thing he talked about, unyielding. We talked about Goten, we talked about Sensui, we talked about Bardock, unyielding. Now, real quick, I want to give you guys what I think about this card. And I actually, I think this card should be restricted to 2. And the reason why it might be a little weird, but I think a lot of the games that happened at Nationals that we commentated, some of you nerds, by the way, took like 9-minute turns because of this card. You guys had all 4 in your hand, plus Sensu Beans, and you guys just attacked like 1,500 times. So, like, do you think that's a little, like, that's just bad for the game? To be able to have a player take a 9-minute turn whenever your opponent is, like, oh, okay, I have 1 energy. Okay, like, you attack me 15 times. Do you think unyielding is the reason beside that, or do you think it's more like Bardock? We talked about that, but do you think Trunks is maybe extending turns to be a little bit too long?
I think unyielding is only considered bad because Bardock and Goten are a thing. It was fine in a red deck, red blue.
Yeah,
I don't think it's
I agree.
Degenerate. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been scared of an unyielding in any other deck other than this one, other than swap.
Okay,
that's true. You get 2 attacks for 1 energy, like
yeah. Like okay, an intensifying trunks using an unyielding trunks is still only 1 attack, and even if it's crit, it's still blockable. Like and then their turn's over, or they're getting to play another minion, but their turn's ending. And this, they're getting 2 cards. When you play an intensifying trunks and take a life and attack and then combo on unyielding, you're gaining no cards. But when you Bardock and do that with the Goten, you're still gaining 1 card. So it's
also the fact that you can search or filter through your deck enough with Goten so that you see them more often. That's also
every game over and over.
Yeah, like you're guaranteed.
Yeah, it's like gonna happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked a lot about that. You know, I think the consistency of this card is what's maybe its problem. But my argument always has been to that is if you start with 4 of these in your hand, is that broken? You know what I mean? Like that doesn't like Goten makes this consistent, sure, but there are still games where you'll draw all 4 of these very frequently. So do you think it's having all 4 of these in your hand is still bad? You know what I'm trying to say? Like,
I've never held any in my hand before. That's like.
But is that because you have Goten to search them, or I mean, like
no? I think even untapping 1 energy in swap isn't even that important. So like that's why I don't even think Borgos is even gonna really do much, because they can just not play unyielding. They're still gonna play 2 from 2 attacks on your turn. Like no other deck can do that every turn, every attack. It doesn't matter if they untap or not. If you ban unyielding, swap would still be busted.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
No. Yeah. I actually don't know.
Like
I'm sorry, I don't know. You're doing a good job explaining it.
So okay, so even after like the amount of pressure and advantage you gain off just 1 Bardock, 1 energy, swinging, taking a life, swinging with Goten, pass to your opponent, they charge their 1 yellow, attack your Goten, you pitch a card to save it, pass back to you. You have a Goten on board, a Bardock in your hand. You have never used an unyielding yet. You're way above your opponent right now. Like, because now they just wasted 1 swing at your card, not even your face, which is essentially protecting a life. Now it's coming back to you. You untap your stuff, and you just continue to get more value off of Goten and Bardock. And you can never use it. You don't even need to use an unyielding. I could play a deck and play only 1 unyielding, and I guarantee my swap deck will still beat most decks. Every deck that ever plays against swap is like hoping that swap kills themselves so that they can get like a good push on them to finish them.
Well, that's a good
if
point.
I just play slower, I'm gonna out advantage you in all ways.
But that is a good point. I do say that quite often, where it's like, you know, when you play against Storm, you're not trying to kill them, you're just trying to survive, and then eventually they just kind of kill themselves.
Right.
But Thomas, Miguel, do you agree with that? Do you think if Storm couldn't untap energy, it would still be an insane deck, or do you think the energy untapping is what helps it be so powerful?
So with their concept, they have the self-awakening that untaps. And I mean, with my trunks, I need the unyielding to keep on going. So I mean, it hurts my concept more than it hurts theirs.
Well, that makes sense. Sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because you're more combo oriented with trunks than you are with Hurricane or whatever.
Yeah, like they can still go off turn 2 and 3 because they're gonna have 2 free energy open. I feel like unyielding is a little crazy because you can untap any color, so that part is a little too much because. I mean, you untap the yellow. If it untapped the blue, it would balance itself.
Sure.
I feel like the Borgos hurts it it nullifies it a little bit, but it forces you to run either a blue package or you have to use blue.
Right.
It just makes green there's nothing with green. I mean, other than androids, you can't use any other concept with green other than androids. That's the only thing I don't like about the cards that are coming out. They're trying to hurt it.
Yeah, you're nerfing your opponent's deck with silver bullets to nerf my deck that I don't even really need. You know what I mean? That I don't even really, at the end of the day, need that bad. Like turn 1, turn 2, fine. Like you're making it so I don't unyielding. I'm still gonna have 2-3 Gotens out by the time you even have a chance to play any relevant cards.
Right. Well, my problem with silver bullets have always been when they're done right, they're actually pretty healthy for the game. They're very hard to do right though, and I think one thing bad about like Burgos and those cards is that they hit decks I think have no business being hit, like Soul Striker for example. Like Soul Striker's on a spot where it needs Burgos to come out and they'll be like, ah crap, now my leader sucks. You know what I mean? Let's not find a way to deal with this. So Miguel, what do you think about I'll let you kind of say your last piece on unyielding and then we'll move on to some more questions. But anything that you can say about unyielding that these two guys haven't, or your opinion on it?
Yeah, I think as a Storm player, I get the most use out of yielding or comboing, like comboing to high numbers. That helps me get to those high numbers, like, using unbreakables and stuff. Aside from that, like Jordan said, it's not the main piece for Storm to go off, because your leader, well, at least Hirudegarn, when it awakens, it untaps too. So you can still do a lot of pressure every turn without the unyielding.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah. No, I agree 100%. So to answer your question, Camo, only took us like 20 minutes. The answer is, and this is the thing we really want to do. So thank you so much for the question. So it looks like the panels, the guest decision is that Bardock would be the problem, and so Bardock needs a little bit of a retuning or something done to it. Is that correct, guys? Is that the correct analysis maybe of the deck? Jordan gives me a thumbs up. We have 3 thumbs up, actually 4. That's I'd say that's the opinion. And I agree. I've talked about it quite a bit. I think Bardock is just so much value. To just be one. Very very easy to do. Mantooth, next question on Twitch says at Kitchtel Meta, do you think the new silver bullet cards they have released are enough to deal with Storm? Also have a question about that same kind of topic on YouTube from Robert. Says, do you guys think Storm players will start maining the 1 plus 10,000 Goten? So that's Goten Family of Justice, I believe, that pops opponents' cards when you combo with it. So first question is, do you guys think the new silver bullets are going to put Storm in the grave, or do you think they're just simply going to adapt and still be extremely strong? Miguel,
I don't think it's enough.
I'll let you go first.
Yeah, I don't think it's enough because it's a 2-drop, right? If a Storm player goes first, they're still going to do a lot of damage, and then they can still you can just main the ape so they can combo and put the ape over Bardock and still pressure like that. They still have overwhelm. I don't think it's the end Storm. They bring out the silver bullet.
Jordan showing the Frieza. Jordan showed the Frieza. I was gonna talk about that, but yeah, Jordan. Yeah, right. So you can essentially exhaust it or put it in rest mode with the Frieza. Actually, I'll find that. Thomas, give me your thoughts, or Miguel, if you want to finish up. I'll find that Frieza card. And I'll pull it up. We can talk about it. We can talk about. I'll let Jordan take the lead on that Frieza.
But yeah, like that was gonna be my answer. Like
there's a million outs.
Yeah, like I feel like yellow is just too much. Like they did for these past couple sets. Like yellow has just been a little better, much more better than other colors. The silver bullets, I feel like it'll hurt them for sure, but it turns it into a dice roll format. Because if Storm player goes first, then they still got their 2 energy to do things. But if you won the dice roll, then at least they only have 1 energy to do stuff. Because you're hoping to get the Goku on turn 2. That's pretty much my thought.
Yeah. Okay. I'm popping up now, so we'll talk about it. Go ahead and what do you think about this Frieza, Jordan? Which is, as soon as I saw that card, it's a card because you actually brought this card out on stream, Jordan, and it was insane. Like you kind of blew your opponent out a little bit with it. Yeah. So what you talk about it?
Me? I never brought this card out.
Okay. Well, maybe it wasn't
you then. The burn.
The burn. Yeah. Thanks, Jordan. I'll give you a compliment. Okay. So we think about this Frieza biding his time. This is auto. When you play this card, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards with the energy cost 2 or less, ignoring barrier, and switch it to rest mode. What do you think about this guy?
Like it's a yellow 1 cost out to the Goku, and I don't know, like you could just go through a bunch of comments from like the old sets, and I'm sure you'll find 2-3 outs that will make that almost irrelevant. Just like everyone was freaking out about Crisis Crusher and Dende and Kami, and now I think this is just another one of that. But one card I do think that actually might hurt Storm is that Demigraph promo that they are talking about releasing coming up, and it makes it so anything with an original attack of 10k or something like that or less can't attack. That makes it so you can't attack with Goten, which actually kind of does hurt. It's like a Nimbus that actually you can't plus off. So when we're talking about the silver bullets, this Frieza is just a clear, like easy, like one of the easiest outs I can see right now to the Boros or the Whis or the Goku. Because what's better than a 1-cost yellow 5K combo and swap? Nothing really. Like,
yeah, and this card actually works great in the Trunks version too, because then you can combo with it afterwards.
Especially the Trunks.
Yep. Right, yeah.
Well, you can't draw. You have to have
oh, that's right. Yeah, it's more than one. You're right. Right. Yeah.
But even in Hyrudegarn, tapping the Goku, you have to still attack with your leader because your 2-drops can't attack. So in Trunks, it will actually be better because in Trunks, they can attack with their leader and still plus off their effect later on. In Hyrudegarn, you have to attack a leader to get the +1.
Absolutely.
So that does kind of hurt Hyrudegarn, but if it hurts it enough, people will just play Trunks.
Sure. Okay.
My boy Trunks.
Yeah, Tom was like, I know.
Yeah.
Trust me, they'll be playing Trunks. Awesome, Miguel. Anything to talk about with Frieza? Anything to say about the silver bullet cards that are being talked about?
Yeah, Frieza's an out. Good card. How much to say about that?
He's good. That's it. All right. We got another question in chat here. I'll go ahead. Let me hide this card here real quick. Getster99 says, Akishimeta, how do you feel about cards like Videl, Pseudo Super Combos, and Raging Spirit Sun Gohan? I've been playing Storm for about 2 weeks now, and they seem awkward, and I began to cut them from my list. So that's cards like Videl. I love Videl personally, but there are times.
Get rid of Videl.
Yeah, but there are times where I do have it in my hand. I'm just like, man, I would rather you be any other card. Do you guys feel the same way with these types of cards, or do you think that these cards are all just absurd cards that you should definitely keep in your version?
I think people played Videl before they played the Dynasty Goku.
Yeah.
But I think the reason why they switched to Dynasty Goku is because it's a searchable card that you can swap into. Videl's not searchable. So if you see it, that's great. But if you don't, then also, even if you play it, it doesn't really attack on its own.
Yeah, it's not
kind of
swing.
there. Yeah. It's kind of a waste of a swap.
Sorry. Videl is mainly to go against Hercule. Like, to gain free combo power and just try and outpressure it.
That's actually a great tip. I actually didn't think of it that way, but yeah. So why is Videl great in the Hercule matchup? Can you tell me?
Well, you tap. I mean, you have to have it out obviously already.
Sure. Right, that helps. Right.
You tap it, give your guy 5K, and it's still on board. So the Hercule player, they're not always gonna have cards to attack with. The majority of the time, they're only going to have their leader. So they have to attack it to actually kill it. And if they don't kill it, then you still have an extra 5K next turn, and you can combo on top of it. But the reason why I like Videl is because any 5K is a free card for me. So if I combo with it, I'm not losing anything because I'm drawing a card. Or it's energy. It's another yellow energy.
Sure, yeah, and I used her like every game as energy. Just about. I think there's one game I had a chance to play her at all, and she feels very good. So the other questions like the Unbreakable Goku, the 1-drop like pseudo super combo. Do you guys still run those into your list? Did you guys cut those as well?
No,
never
I still
cut
play
those.
it.
Yeah.
Never ran it.
I don't
Thomas
know.
is like, I don't know what that card even does. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know how. I've never played Trunks Storm, but I personally would play 4 of it because you get to draw 2. It would fix your bad hands and things like that. But Thomas is the Trunks Storm expert.
Y'all are the hero guys, so
yeah. I'll let him. If he's saying not to play it, don't play it. It must be bad. So, but
Thomas is trolling, right? Like it's you play it, right? Don't you, Thomas?
Well, I don't play it because you have to use an energy for it. Like,
sure,
I have to use more resources for my energy.
Well, that actually makes a little bit of sense because when you awaken, you don't untap too. That's where I find it the most effective for me with Hirudegarn is when I'm like, man, I need to make use of this blue energy. I don't want a sensu bean, so I just use Unbreakable and then I awaken. That's actually true. I never thought about that. With you though, it's a lot harder because you get to draw 2 cards when you awaken, like a noob. So did you guys find? I mean, that's actually yes. Poor Thomas, dude. We're just all ganging up on Thomas. This guy playing trunks like an idiot. But yeah, so it's actually true. So you don't run it in that. So explain a little bit why you don't run it. And I never thought about that because to me, it's like would be such a fantastic card in trunks for you to draw too. So yeah, so why don't you run it?
Why don't I run it?
Yeah. So I kind of cut you off. I'm just so surprised. Probably should have like looked at your guys' list before I brought you on here and had any foresight at all what I'm talking about. But yeah, so why don't you run it in this and in your trunks version?
Well, because I don't like the free card is nice, but the deck filters through the deck so much that you don't need that extra bump to get another card. Because I mean, your power play is 5 to 4 life. So you're going to be drawing 6 cards in one turn in my concept of the deck. And like when I awaken, like I'm not going to get that energy to play free defensive cards.
Okay, that makes sense. So essentially every card in your deck is an unbreakable at one point.
Yeah, because if I draw a card, I'm just going to combo with that card too. If I need to have 10k.
Yeah. My friend has been playing Trunk Storm for a long time now, and we often talk about how to upgrade his deck or whatever. I don't even play Storm, but I've been watching him play it and helping him with ideas for a while. And every time, like I've been telling him like play 4 Unbreakable, and at this point, I think he doesn't play any now. And I think eventually he cut it down from 4 to 2 and from 2 to 0, but I've never really agreed with that up until now when you're saying that energy thing, which makes sense because
it does, because I literally like 90% of times I play Unbreakable is either on defense to protect one of my Gotens or something, or like on like turn 1 or 2, or like to make use of my awaken energy. So yeah, it actually makes tons of sense.
Like everyone at my locals knows me for playing as many super combos as possible. So I've played like all the cells, all Unbreakables, and 4 Raging Spirits.
Okay, Hercule
like
players.
No, but like I feel like cards like Raging Spirit Gohan are like the most bang for buck cards, generic cards in the game because you're saving a life. Then you get to you're getting a +1 because you're stopping. It's like a negate, but it really gets to play a guy. Then you get to swing at, and like I said, a swing is like gaining a card in an aggressive deck because they have to waste a card to defend it, and like on the backswing, if they attack that, they're defending your life. So it's like you're gaining like 3 things, different value aspects from one energy, and you're playing it on your opponent's turn. Like that's really, really good. So those kind of things I've always found to be like the best in the game. So like when Unbreakable, even and why I always thought it was so good in Trunks is because you can use it in defense, save, like I said, a free negate almost sometimes. And then everyone knows how good a super combo is. But also in Trunks, you can use it on the offense to draw 2 new cards. But what Thomas is saying he's awakening and drawing 2 cards. And if he combos with a super combo, he draws another 2 cards. So those Unbreakable draws are probably not as valuable. And in Hyrule, like you were saying, you're always comboing an Unbreakable when you awaken with Hyrule to go to 25. You always do that. Like I'm sure you know that too, Miguel. Like,
yeah,
you like, and like he was also saying,
he goes like, yeah, I know.
After 4 life, your ghost
I got you.
And your attacks all have to be like huge numbers, so that like you have to read how many sensu beans they have and how many super combos they have and combo above that and combo to specific numbers to make sure like to see that you've wasted them all before you do the double strike and then the mirror double strike to finish them with the battering. So like Unbreakable and Hyrule probably doesn't see as many cards as Trunks does by like turn 3. Trunks probably sees more, so like you won't need to have the same high combo numbers as Hyrule does later on. I feel like because you get the extra draw, you get the free combo and an extra draw every attack. So your attacks are most of the time higher than Hybrid Regards in the first place.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. That's awesome. That's actually a card I never thought about. Like, to me, it was just like a no-brainer in Trunks. That's why we have the Trunks Master, Thomas Lippman, in here talking this, the freaking download.
I feel so honored now.
Also, we got Clay Result in chat. Thank you so much.
Title.
You got the title, man. Yeah, my buddy Clay Result in chat, guys. Everyone say hello to Mr. Clay Result. Thank you so much for stopping by, my man. Actually, just got done doing the fan fiesta for the game he covers, which is Brave Exodus, and he got to share the stage with Katy Perry. So that's pretty cool.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, here I am covering Dragon Ball, going to share the stage with you nerds, and he gets to hang out with Katy Perry. Like, I'm covering the wrong game.
We need
I'm as cool as Katy Perry.
Absolutely. Okay, so here's a question from Miguel. I can't wait for Miguel to answer this question. Super Toe in Twitch says, Miguel! Exclamation mark. How did that Android player O2 you at Nats, and who was that?
Get good.
I don't remember his name.
Super Toe?
Yeah, Super Toe. Yeah.
Oh, I think I know that guy. I think he's from Toronto.
He's from Canada. He told me.
Oh, okay, yeah. What's up, Alex?
Yeah. He did. He destroyed me. I think it was round 5 or something. And yeah, he got me. He went first, I think. He was able to bring out the Deadly Defender, the Android 18. He had enough combo power to keep it alive, and I wasn't able to get through it. It was really hard.
all androids, man. Such a good deck.
Yeah.
Deadly Defender is such a good card in that deck.
If they go first, they go first, it can be a hard matchup, or at least 50-50.
Well, the thing about androids that I hate the most is that they awaken on 6. That annoys me. And then they also, when you knock them to 4, they just get so much power. Like, they get so much power.
Yeah.
They get power off their super combo if they're running 16. They get power off all their guys getting plus 5k, so the defenders get better. So, like, I never attack android. I never know when to attack them. I literally just, I don't know what to do. It seems like the scariest deck to play against. Do you guys have any tips on how to play against androids?
You hope they don't. You hope they have a bunch of 1Ks that they can't combo with because it's too early in the game, and yeah.
Well, yeah, like androids is a hit or miss. If you're running Cell Chain, if like they can be unfortunate and get their 7 and 5 drops in hand, it's like, well, okay,
right.
But I mean, you kind of have to read them too. Like, if you can kind of see what they're charging and how they're trying to play, they can kind of play around that.
Right.
Like, okay, I don't need to awaken them because they have a bricky hand. So you can like wait till like turn 2 or 3 to do a bigger push.
And just try to play around. Also, the card was Shocking Death Ball. That's another card you have to play around that matchup. We talked a little bit about it earlier, but yeah, androids always seems like a very tough matchup. But also from androids though, it always feels like when I'm playing androids, I'm always like, oh, like I can't beat Storm. But then when I'm playing Storm, I'm like, oh, I can't beat androids. It's really weird. It's like that weird matchup with androids where sometimes you get those hands like you guys were talking about would just feel terrible. You're just like, ugh, this sucks. Like, all my 5 drops are in my life. I'm screwed or whatever. Jordan, do you have any Jordan, do you have any problems with androids, or do you just kind of wreck androids that you don't care about?
No, I do have a problem with androids, but not like, I guess in Storm's point of view as a problem. Like,
right.
You know, yeah, sure. It's a tougher matchup, but it's not fair.
Right.
It's still not fair. So Sorry, continue. What were you saying?
Oh, I was just gonna mention that games 2 and 3, I cited Mafuba for the Deadly Defender.
Yeah.
That helped a lot.
Yeah, like game 1 is more dice roll because you don't have side, and if they go first, they might just sell you, and you just might make that one. But that's like, you're hoping they have to have like the best hand, which is sell, and the combos for sell, and like the negates to so that you don't pressure them down to 3 life by turn 2, and that's, if they have that, then yeah, maybe they can win it. But like most of the time, you're gonna come out on top. It's maybe 65, 45 or 35 or whatever for
I was gonna say, like, holy crap,
add it up really fast.
yeah. It's really an unfair matchup still for Storm against Cell, but Cell is like the closest thing other than Mirror that can beat Storm because they have the negate.
Yeah,
and they have Cell to follow up after using a negate for 2 turns.
I I feel like what people don't realize is that negate you have to have 5 cards. Like them comboing 5 cards is kind of hard.
Yeah.
Or like it affects them a lot more than you think.
Right. To play it for free, they have to have 5 cards. Yeah.
And you still take a life.
Yeah. Like they gotta like hope right off the bat, like they have a great hand and they have to have Cell. Without Cell, there's just no way they're winning. So really, it doesn't. I find it okay. Well, I guess like some more deeper thought into it is game 1 is a possible loss, but games 2 and 3, at least for my Storm build, it was Cell cannot beat me. I was setting in 3 Foos and the combo blockers, and I played Raging Spirit Gohan, so I'm not gonna take any damage until turn 3 and past, and you're gonna be at like 4 life, and I'm gonna have so many cards. You'd wish you could. You're gonna sub chain me. Then I'm just gonna Foo, draw 2 more, attack with leader, draw 2 more, play Goten, draw 2 more, and you're gonna be dead. You're gonna be dead because like it's just so broken. Like I don't know, Storm just has an answer to everything.
Right.
It's like the most broken thing ever, and all my friends said like all I'm gonna say is, "Oh,
how
Storm's
broken
broken.
it is.
Storm's broken. Like it's so broken. It's the most broken deck right now. Like
it's because it has blue. Like blue is so versatile.
And blue and yellow both are really versatile, I think, which really helps them. So, like, you guys have been, I think, making that pretty clear right now throughout this discussion is that even with all these silver bullets, the best 2 colors to have answers to those
are blue
and yellow, right? So,
like blue has the best leaders in the game, like strongest. Sure. Every leader in blue is nuts. Like they're all +1s. Like Hyrule is, oh my gosh, so broken. Like I can't. I know Trunks is broken. I hope you don't take offense, but I can't.
Thomas looks mad. He looks like he's very offended.
Oh no!
I'm definitely getting that vibe.
Those legs and things like that. Like you're just like plussing every activation of combo, every attack, every move you make is a plus. It's just not fair. It's just not fair. Like how are you supposed to lose?
So, but Miguel, let's go back just a little bit and let's talk about the Mafuba play you just talked about, because I want to talk about this. I think that's pretty sick, and I want to explain I think why it's amazing. So if you pass with two energy open, your opponent has a deadly defender, and they're like, crap, he might have Mafuba. I just won't attack with my deadly defender and play around Mafuba. Well, that's perfect for you, right? That's exactly what you want them to do.
That's exactly right.
Right. So like, if they do attack, then you Mafuba them, right? So it's actually a lose-lose situation. Can you talk a little bit about that? Sideboarding and Mafubas versus deadly defenders, why it's so good, and how it worked for you at Nationals.
Yeah, the only time I ever cited it was against androids, because that was the only deadly defender that I was actually scared of. Right off the bat, at turn 2, it's crazy. All the other ones, they don't really bring them out on time, but this one they do. So I did side Mafuba, especially if I lost game 1. I only played 2 androids during my Swiss rounds, and the one I played first I actually beat 2-0, and the reason I won game 2 was because I sided in Mafuba, and he was like, I know you have it. I know you have it. He swings, and I Mafuba him, and it was like, damn it.
That's actually awesome. That's such a good tech. That's such a good. I actually love that. I love that tech in there. Okay, so what I want to do is I'm going to do another question, then we're going to move into another little segment. We're going to be wrapping up here, guys, in probably about 30-40 minutes, something like that. Also, guys, we'll do a little FAQ section as well, so we can take more questions. Last time I didn't think I did a good enough job with that, so I'm trying to do some questions here. So this is at all 3 players. Which deck do you feel is your worst matchup? I also have a hard time with androids, is what they're saying. So this is something we were going to talk about anyway. So we'll start with Miguel this time, and we'll go up this time. Miguel, we talked about androids. What's some other leaders that are like your hardest matchup?
The mirror, besides the mirror match, or
no, you can say mirror. That's fine. If that's one of them, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the mirror match. Yeah, I guess you can say Hercule is a bad matchup, but I don't think you'll see too much of Hercule because it loses to other decks, especially like Super 17. Leader that beats it. So I don't think that you'll face Hercule enough to consider it a bad matchup, because you're probably not gonna play against it unless you're playing at locals or something. So the mirror match is definitely the hardest, because the die roll is important. Everything's important. How many Gotens you see, how many unyieldings you see. That's where unyielding is really important, because you want to be able to put more pressure than your opponent.
Right.
And you have to know when to take damage and when not to, and you have to know you have to decide kind of early on if you're going to be the one who's trying to survive and then just kill them the next turn, or if you're going to be the one that tries to kill them before they can kill you.
Yeah, well, that's actually something that I think maybe Thomas has a little advantage of in the mirror. Maybe, and again, I'm not an expert, so Thomas, why don't you talk about this? One of the things I think is really important in the mirror match, especially when it's like Hirudegan versus Hirudegan, or even Krillin versus Hirudegan, whatever it is if you can make your opponent awaken on your turn, and they lose that power turn on their turn, they can't untap two and put their power turn on you. Is that something that you think is an advantage for you as playing Trunks, where you're like, because I mean, I guess technically Trunks wants to awaken on his turn too, so maybe you feel the same kind of pressure. But what do you think is the mirror match easier for you as Trunks, or is it about the same, or what?
For the mirror, I feel like I have an advantage because I get an additional like 3 free blockers essentially, because they can't run my, so I can just play my either as a free blocker, or I use it as an. I mean, they have the Minosha Hirudegan little package, but I can use it as energy and have all my senses and all my unyieldings live. But like especially I learned in Atlanta actually that when I was running 4 Mize, I would just drop 3 against them, and in the mirror match they had 3 attacks, so I'm like, okay, I got 3 blockers, you have no answer to it. And I just kill them next turn.
Well, you're talking about Mai. Something I think I've seen you do as well is you actually, I think, won a game with Mai. You actually, you just use it as a free attacker. Like, you attacked your opponent a ton, and like they were defending, and you were just like, well, I got having the 1 life. I think you played Mira, they negated, and you're like, okay. And then you were just like, Mai, attack you, combo with 2 cards, and they're just like, I got me. Like, it's like this little, like, it's a little sneaky attacker sometimes too. I can see that being very, very good. Is there any other cards that in the Mirror that you think help you, or that you have success in the Mirror?
I feel like the draw 2 is an additional advantage, because Hirudegan does lose steam. Like, if they combo enough, they're gonna lose out on cards. So like the key factor is to have more cards than your opponent. I mean, eventually how you guys are gonna go butt like head to head is you both are gonna have 10, 11 cards in hand, and you're gonna try and do mid range pressure to try and get each other to go down to 7, 6. And the good thing about my deck is that I could combo with a card in my hand to draw a card, so I can already get higher than them. I mean, they have the Unbreakable, which kind of hurts me in that aspect, so that's why they use it more than me. But yeah, I feel like just the different concept of my leader to not lose steam gives me a little bit of an edge.
Sure, you can go a little bit later and be safe, so you can play more defense at the beginning, is what you're saying, and still be fine, throughout the game.
Yeah.
Jordan, what do you think, man, about the mirror match? Is that the hardest matchup for you as well?
Yeah, for sure. Mirror match is the hardest match. Especially Trunks, like what Thomas was saying. Trunks is probably in favored in the Hirudegan versus Trunks, but Hirudegan probably beats Krillin, and in the Hirudegan to Hirudegan mirror, I feel like who goes first is super important, and yeah, pretty much what Miguel was saying. If you see more stuff, like, you're gonna win. If you see more unyieldings and see more super combos,
sure.
Especially bean, you see the most beans. Like, if you have 3 beans in your hand, you're gonna survive, and it just becomes who went first and things like that.
Sure.
Like, it isn't like 100% die roll, but it's huge because the second energy and things like that. Like going You going first, you get to decide, like, okay, am I charging a blue or am I charging a yellow? If I'm charging yellow, if I'm charging a blue, I'm going to be defensive, like Miguel was saying. But the opponent doesn't really get to make that choice because you are choosing it for them. If you charge a yellow and play a Bardock and pass to them, well, now they're like, well, crap, my defense turn is not going to be that great because I'm charging a blue and passing right now, and that's like, that's going to give them 2, like, now they're going to go into their turn with 3 energy, like I was saying. So, like, even going second, being defensive is almost like a neg right there. So it really sucks going second in the mirror.
Absolutely. Thomas, we have androids, the mirror match, anything else that gives you some trouble?
I have a deathly fear of Hercule, so
I've actually been playing the crap ton of Hercule, and I love that deck. I love that leader. It is so much fun.
Like, I get scared because, I mean, they're going to have 15, 16 cards in hand, and you have to combo up to like 30, 35, and you can't do that so much.
Right.
And you just die.
Definitely. Miguel, anything else that scares you, man? We have Hercule, we have androids, we have the mirror match. Anything else you guys can think of? Any fringe decks or anything that just have been taking you guys out at locals, or your friends have been playing, or
maybe like mono blue decks that are like really defensive, like Soul Striker, where they can just survive. They can survive. Yeah, Janemba. They can just survive, and then you'll run out of steam as a Hibbergarn player.
Oh, sorry. Go on.
I was just gonna say, like, that's about it.
Yeah, like, I mean, Janemba is pretty much an answer because it's all RNG. Like, you're milling 2. They can easily mill key cards.
Right. They can get your Gotens. They can get your Unyieldings. They can get, all this, powerful cards. Absolutely.
I would actually, sorry.
I would say the only thing I would say, that's how you, like, mulligan differently. Like, I need to keep this card because I don't want to risk it get milled.
Sure, right, yeah, absolutely. That is an advantage I've noticed when I play against Janemba that I have. I think is I played Magic, so I'm used to playing against Mill and how that you have to keep certain cards because you can't guarantee you're going to get anything with Mill, right? Because how it works with me, every time they mill me, it's the 2 best cards every time. So I just have to assume that's what it's always going to be like and try to keep the cards in my hand. Jordan, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say I would say a good Janemba player versus a bad Storm player would actually most of the time win. Because they have the auto negate and they only have so many turns to kill you. Like they can only draw so many cards, and even if that bad ring mirror play doesn't work the same either, so like closing out the game becomes at least an extra step harder. And sometimes, if you're not that experienced at playing Storm, a good Janemba player will just outplay you and beat you. And that's if it might, but I think Janemba, other than Hercule, is the only deck that actually could possibly win 2-0 in swap. Okay. Other than Cell and like Hercule, yeah.
Is there any?
And like Cell is like
I'm sorry,
random.
Yeah, is there any like fringe decks, any fringe leaders you guys have played against that be like, you know what, like there might be some potential here?
Pan.
How about Pan? That's a great one. How about Zamasu? Have you guys ever played against any Zamasu leaders?
No.
Yeah, never tried to do that. Like, I mean, is that something that you guys would be like, you know what? Like,
I think they'd just get milled out.
You think they would get milled out before they can defend themselves?
Yeah.
I think red. They at least have a really good negate. They have after image technique, which can kill a Bardock.
They have the red. What's the negate that gives them 5k? The Sensu being negate? Is it like
Unending Awakening?
Unending Awakening. Yeah, that card's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I feel like Eric Christensen's Baby Vegeta deck is pretty clutch.
Ooh, yeah, that would be sick.
Yeah. I think Shenron is another issue after swap, and that's like a thing. Like if we get rid of swap, now we're going to deal with Shenron. And you're going to be getting killed turn 3 anyways. So
yeah, well, we talked about that in our bannings episode last week, where we said, it's a slippery balance is a slippery slope. That's something that I've worked a lot in, and it's like, it's that butterfly effect. You change something small, and all of a sudden, 2 sets later, that thing you change is what was keeping the whole game together. You know what I mean? So it's very tricky, very tricky. Absolutely. Okay. All right. So let's go into. Go ahead, Thomas.
I say like a ban like. This is, I guess, the Yu-Gi-Oh part talking, but like a banless is balanceable because you can limit a combo, but still have it available.
Sure.
Like if you limit Bardock to 1, it's there, but the chances of getting it consistently is very slim in general.
Okay. Well,
and then that Android negate becomes when they can't attack with Bardock ever. Into a green energy because they'll lose their only Bardock, and that things like I agree, like a limit of cards should just probably go down.
And, honestly, too, limiting Bardock isn't as bad as you might think either. Like, because the thing about flute is that sometimes you draw your flute, sometimes you don't. But with the ability to search your Bardock, you're almost guaranteed to always get that one Bardock. Right? You just run 4 searchers now, and essentially you still have 5 in deck, or quote unquote, but you only have 1. Do you know what I mean? That makes sense. Yeah. So it doesn't make the game as RNG, if that makes sense, as it would be like if you're playing the mirror match and your opponent gets their Bardock, right, and you don't get yours, then like that could be really annoying. But like with the searcher, I think it's maybe balanced. Maybe that would be something unique to try out.
I mean,
Yeah, build.
that's also like sorry, but
Ours.
like the life part is what
Sure.
gives it an advantage because you can easily life it. Like with Shenron, you can easily get 4 or 5 Dragon Balls life. That's just an unfortunate.
Yep. Nope. I know in our testing for nationals, that happened to me quite a bit. I'd play Shenron. I would tap him sideways. I'd look at my life. I had four life. 4 balls of life. I'm like, you win. There's no way I'm going to win this game unless I get lucky and you hit him into my hand or something. But it's so hard. Having too many balls in life against Storm is just devastating. Absolutely. Okay, so I want to do something, another little thing we talked about moving in, guys. Again, we probably have about another 20, 30 minutes left in chat, so please ask these guys your questions. There is not 3 better players to talk to. Like I said, guys, we wanted to get Jordan here. He wanted to be here, but he couldn't be here due to illness. So please, guys, give him your best wishes. Jordan's an amazing guy. The question is, what do you guys think are the best leaders to play with Storm? We talked about this a little bit before the show, so I'll start with, I have all 3 of the cards ready to go, so I want you guys to kind of tell me, starting from number 3 up to number 1, what do you guys think the best is? I'm going to ignore everything Thomas says, because I know he's going to say Trunks. See it, just get out of here. Who do you guys think is the 3rd best Storm leader?
The 3rd best?
Krillin, maybe.
Yeah, Krillin.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like Krillin's the only other versatile one that can give it the best bang
for the buck. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Krillin. Miguel, I'll start with you. What do you think about Krillin? Why is he, you think, your 3rd best pick? What makes him work? Why is he, on this list at all? Why is he the best pick?
I think he works because you don't have to rely on seeing unyieldings to awaken, like to keep, bar rocking. You can be aggressive without having to rely on seeing your untaps. But I think where it falls short is the awaken side. Actually, yeah, it's a good effect where you draw a card at the end of your turn, but if you're playing Storm, a deck that tries to rush down your opponent, you're not going to get many of those turns. You're not going to get as much value.
Right. I mean, there are times... I'm sorry, go ahead. No, I did not mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
I just want to say I like the crit effect, though.
Yeah, the crit effect's sick. I'll tell you, there are times where if you get like a really, really good hand, you can awaken turn 1 with Krillin, and then that auto is a little bit better. Because he does take a life himself, you can also ready an energy when he awakens. Thomas, what do you think about Krillin? Do you think he's, do you think his awaken side effect's a little awkward? Like, how do you feel?
I think it's like his self-awakening is really good, but his awakening effect is so bad that I just have something against Krillin. I just don't.
You're like, I just hate him. He's stupid. He dies all the time.
It doesn't do as much as what another leader can do. Like, you only get to untap 1 instead of 2. I mean, like Miguel said, like, you get 1 after the end of each turn, but that you only get that so much. It doesn't do anything.
Jordan, what do you think about the ball-headed Krillin?
He's not so bad. Like, you're technically drawing 2 with him when you awaken, because at the end of the turn you draw another card. So it's like technically draw 2, untap 1. And the thing is, Krillin can, like what Miguel was saying, you can play Krillin without having a good hand. So say they nerf Storm, Krillin actually might be the better leader to play because it can get to that awakened state where it's just drawing cards faster than everyone else and like having the outs to all these new silver bullet cards. I do think it's good. It's just like what they're saying. What Miguel said. You don't have that many turns, so his awaken ability isn't that great.
Sure.
And I think in the Storm matchups, it's just not the best. It will out of the 3 leaders in a mirror match, Krillin would lose to the other 2. That's just how I feel. Yeah,
no, I completely agree. Also, Stephen Welcher, welcome to the stream, my man. Nice to see you again. Remember, guys, I will be on Stephen Welcher's stream on Friday. He invited me to stop by, so I'll be there. I'll let him talk about it because honestly, I don't know all the details. So, guys, tell hello to him and welcome Stephen. Okay, next leader, number 2. Thomas, yeah. All right, so next, who do you guys think is number 2?
I guess Trunks. Okay. Trunks is second.
Thomas is like, I guess it's
cool.
Trunks. He's nerd.
It's cool.
I actually forgot to get the Trunks picture, I think.
It's fine. I'll take
he
it.
sucks. I couldn't find it. No, here it is, I guess. Ugh, I have to pop him up here. All right, Trunks. Thomas, I'll let you lead this one off. Why do you think Trunks as number 2? One of the worst picks as a storm leader. Go ahead, explain to me.
It's not as popular, so you don't see as many Trunk Storm players as Fruitagon Storm.
Sure.
Like I think there was two, 3 or 4 Trunk Storm players, and there was double the amount of Fruitagon Storm. So
yeah,
it's just the player base wants Fruitagon Storm.
I actually expect you to go a different route. I thought you'd be like, you just have to be super sexy. You have to be just an amazing player to even try to think about playing this guy. Hirutagon's for the noob storm players, but no. But in case you guys don't know, guys,
they got
again,
the gold.
But in case you guys didn't know, guys, again, Thomas went undefeated in Swiss with Trunk Storm, which is an amazing feat. So hard to do. It's just to go so many rounds undefeated is absurd. So what made you do that with Trunks, Thomas? Like, I mean, on all seriousness, what makes Trunks such just a fantastic storm leader?
It just, you have a different play style. Like, I tried using Hirutagon Storm at first, and it just wouldn't work out for me. I would just either do too much gas, so I tried Trunk Storm, and it gave me the edge to my style that I like.
Okay.
Like it did everything. I didn't want to untap energy. I wanted to draw more cards.
Sure.
Just in case if I were to brick, because I do, like, everyone bricks once in a while. It just, how can you recover from it?
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's true. And that's another point too. Going into, I think everybody. I mean, can you guys agree that you guys? I don't think anybody going to nationals and that was taking nationals seriously was like Storm. I don't think anybody will be playing that deck, right? Like, so I think everybody was like, Storm is something you have to test against, right? And I guess if you guys really think about it, I mean, Trunks is the best answer to Storm while still being a Storm deck itself, right? We just talked about that. So I guess, yeah, it actually makes a lot of sense. That was a great reason to play Trunks. If you're expecting Storm and you want to have an advantage playing Storm, then why not go Trunks? Jordan, do you have anything to add about Trunks? Anything that, did you get to play against the All Nationals, or have you had a chance to play against
No, I have a good amount of games played against Trunks. Like I said, my friend plays Trunks, and we talk about his deck all the time. We often argue about who's better, our Hirutagon or Trunks. And honestly, what Thomas was saying seems like the truth, because my friend just says the same thing. He just likes the play style better of Trunks, while I personally like the Hirutagon play style. And it's not any specific reasons why, except for the fact that I think in Hiruta, I personally think untapping on defense is better than drawing 2 on defense against Storm.
I agree.
And I also really do hate free blockers and love Unbreakables and Raging Spirits. So I just had to play Hiruta, and I couldn't play Trunks because you can't play those cards.
Right. Okay.
Can't untap as much.
Well, I think that's something great that this game does fantastically well. Is I think some games make the leader system kind of blah, but I think this game really, like, the leader system really allows you to add a little bit of flair into a deck that you're playing. And I think Trunks that's a good point, Thomas, that you brought up, and Jordan, that you verified, is that, if your playstyle is, a Trunks playstyle, don't be afraid to do it. Just because you play Storm doesn't mean you have to be the same Storm deck. You can change your leader up, you can change your deck up a little bit, and still fit it to your playstyle. Miguel, what do you think about Trunks?
I think it's pretty close. I think where Hirutagarn takes the slight edge is that it can more consistently kill on turn 2. And the reason why is because of the untap effect when it awakens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only slight difference. It's pretty close.
That makes sense. So you're saying that, like, to have that God hand, I'm going to kill you, like, on turn 2, there's nothing you can do about it. Hirutagan has a higher chance for that to happen other than Trunks, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's move into number 1. I don't think anybody's surprised. The best Storm leader is Zamasu. Hirutagan.
I wanted so bad. I wanted to try it so bad, and it just.
All right. So Miguel, Mr. Second Place down there, what made you choose Hirutagan to go into nationals, and why do you think he's the best Storm leader?
I think I said it before. I don't remember if I said it, but I chose to play Hirutagarn Storm because I felt like it didn't have, like, a really, really bad matchup. Like, it can at least play most of the time. So that's the reason I chose it. I really like the Unawaken effect, where you can just dish a card, draw 2, especially if you have Minosha. You gain a lot of advantage. Even if you're not, like, storming your opponent, you just, like, overwhelm them in resources. I really like the untap effect. I like the fact that, going back to the Minutia, I like the fact that I don't have to charge a Sensu Bean or an Unyielding to get
Right.
my blue energy. I can just use the legs that I searched off of the Minutia.
That's true. That's something we didn't talk about with Thomas's Trunks deck, but he also has the ability to do that with Mize as well.
Mize.
That's actually very, very true. Yeah. That was actually a question in chat that I completely ignored. I'm so sorry. But they asked how important, like, how do you guys try to stack your energy? And I'm sorry to interrupt this, but I know I'll forget it again. And that is, do you guys go like yellow turn 1, always try to always do a blue turn 2, and then follow it up with yellow after that? Or how do you guys try to do your energy?
I think it depends. If you're playing against Storm, probably charge a blue, maybe.
I say, like, you
playing
don't
Nimbus.
always charge a blue. Like, sometimes you don't need the blue.
Yeah.
So you mean sometimes you don't play blue at all, ever, the whole game? Or do you mean turn 1?
See you later.
Yeah, like, the only time like I would try and charge blue turn 1 is the mirror match. But I've done games where I'd never charged blue.
Okay.
It was all yellow.
Okay, sick. Okay. Yeah, all right. So anything else, Miguel, for Harudegun?
The super combo is really good.
Oh gosh, it's so good. Holy crap. You draw so many cards, man.
You could ditch your extra cards, like successors that you don't really need anymore. That helps.
Absolutely. All right, Thomas, what do you think about Harudegun? Anything to add or anything to talk about with this guy?
It's really good. Like, when I first had the leader,
it's a good one.
Well, I actually wanted to try and build a Harudegun deck when I saw the leader, and I didn't actually realize how ridiculous it was until like Storm or Blue Red at first came out. I didn't realize how great that was until I saw it. But like Miguel said, like, the super combo is OP. Like, you discard any bad card and you get another free filters.
Absolutely. So it makes it super consistent for sure. I mean, that's why the first time I ever played Harudegun was out this weekend. I will go get my deck. We'll talk about it, but it was just amazing to be able to be like, oh, attack my leader, draw 2. You have a super combo, draw 2. It just feels like everything you do draws 2, and it just feels amazing. It just feels so good. That's at like the low end too, right? If you pitch Minutia, then it essentially draws 3, which is absurd. Jordan, what do you think, man? Anything to add on Harudegun?
Yeah. It's broken. Like, but it's always been broken. It's been like the best leader since it came out, I think, and even better than SS3. And I know people will disagree with me, but I personally never SS3 needed to get banned. But the way that the game shaped out says otherwise. But the thing about Hybrid, the Minutia package is just very, very good. Like, when you ditch a Minutia from your Harudegun swing, it's like you awoken with a leader that doesn't untap because you're drawing 2, but you're replacing the card that you ditched anyway. So it's like you awakened on turn 1, and you drew 2, and then it's like you're awakened, just you didn't have the 5k boost, and then you also get the untap ability when you actually awaken. And then if you have a Minutia for your pitch, when you super combo, it's like you awakened again. And that's actually why I chose Harudegun over Trunks at the end of the day, was because I felt like, well, if I get a good enough hand, I'll get the draw 2 anyways, and I'll get the untap. So I just feel like it has too much. And then on its backside, more energy. Every swing is like a +2, so it's just like, and if they defend, like, that's +3, so it just gets out of hand like real fast. And being able to charge the legs as your blue, or like in my deck I played Raging Spirit all the time instead of Sensu Bean and Unyielding. That's just like what's better than Krillin, and that's like what's better. Well, I guess Trunks has but I still think Harudegun has more faster ways to get to their blue. Like, if I go second, I swing, and then I have my blue energy for turn 1, for turn 2,
Sure.
like every game, and that's like super important. Like, going second in Harudegun against everything except Mirror is like busted, and even going first against everything is already good. So Harudegun just takes the cake, in my opinion. Like, it's just has the most utility, has the best cards, and even cards that don't get played, like Phantom Flame Cannon. If Storm were to go away and like other decks could come out of the woods, Harudagon would always still be a top tier leader.
No, absolutely, absolutely. There's a great effect. Okay, so there's two things left to do, guys, before we go. So make sure you guys ask these guys your questions if you have any more questions for these guys. Amazing, amazing guests. It's been so much fun. The thing I want to do is I want to talk about 3 things about Storm. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask these 3 questions to each one of you individually. So I'm just going to be like, here's the topic. Miguel, I want you to cover it. The next topic, Thomas, cover it. Next topic, Jordan, topic. And then I want you guys to just poop on my deck that I made. And then we'll get out of here, guys. So, Miguel, the question I have for you. And the thing, as I ask this to you, I'm going to step out and get my deck real quick while you answer it. And that is, for new players, for experienced Storm players, what do you look for when you're how do you mulligan, right? What's the most important things to keep and what matchups? How do you mulligan efficiently with Storm?
You really want to keep your Goten because actually, if you don't see any Gotens or any Barrocks, sometimes what I do is, even if you see a Barrock, actually, if you do see a Barrock but not a Goten, I'll return the Bardock just so I have a higher chance of seeing the Goten because I have 4 Successor and then like I main 3 Bardocks. So that's like 7 Bardocks. So I'm probably going to see a Bardock no matter what, but it's hard to see the Goten, so it's really important. I don't really keep the Unyielding or Sensu Being in hand unless my hand's already kind of good and I don't want to make it worse. I'll just keep my hand. Sometimes I do that. I don't really keep any Overwhelms because I think they're better in the later turns. Okay. Even Mira. Depending on the matchup, I might keep Battering Laser if it's really crucial. For example, if it's like game 2 or 3 and I'm playing against the Mirror and I'm going first, I know I could probably win if I have the Battering Laser. So sometimes I might keep it. Usually what I look for.
Okay.
No super combos, yeah. You'll draw into those later.
You'll get those. That's no problem. Yeah. All right, so on that note, Thomas, the question I have for you for beginner and inexperienced players, please take as much time as you can, is when you swing with Goten, right, you look at those top 3 cards, right? What goes into your decision on making those top 3 cards? And a fun question I have for all 3 of you afterwards, I want you to answer first, Thomas, is what is the most awkward 3 cards you get off Goten that makes you, just have to think the hardest, if that makes sense?
When you look at the top 3, I would say try and like feel out your hand and what you can follow up. Like, say you can get an Unyielding, a Sensu, or a Flying Nimbus. Like, if I get the Unyielding, I can play another Goten, and what's the chances of me getting the Flying Nimbus in the mirror match?
Sure.
Like, should I get the Flying Nimbus to live for another turn, or should I just try and keep on pushing? Or like, what do I need to try and counter this deck? Like, against androids, if I'm doing best of 3, if I'm going Goten, I want to try and get the Yajirobe's. Well, because me personally, I run Yajirobe on my side. Because if they attack with the Deadly Defender, then you can just negate or lock in Revenge. But sometimes you can keep on going. So why not get another Unyielding, attack 2 more times,
sure,
do it again.
Now, does Unyielding always take priority most of the time? Like, would you say 90% that's the card you're looking for? Or is there certain situations where you would just pitch it?
There would be certain situations where you don't need it at all.
Okay.
Like, most of the time, my choice would be Unyielding because I get a draw and an untap, so it's a 2-in-1. But if I already have Unyielding in my hand, why not just get a Goten or a Successor to get Dynasty Goku? Like, it's what can keep your combos keep on going.
Okay. So you say like 90% of the time when you tackle Goten, you're looking for cards that will keep your turn going, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Jordan.
Yeah,
my man. what are the best cards for a sideboard as Storm? What are the cards that you would say key cards against certain matchups as a Storm player for beginner and experienced players alike? What cards are you looking for, and why are those cards so important?
Well, battering for sure is needed in the side or the main or something.
Okay.
Or a mass sand for the mirror match. I think I see a lot of people doing it Mira and Fu in the main, but I really like maybe even a third or fourth Fu for the cell matchup, just because it can run over all the deadly defenders, and it's just one card you have to hold after a cell chain to recover. It doesn't matter really if they cell chain you, as long as you have a Fu, and then even after that, like another Fu after that is just really good against cell. The swinging over the deadly defenders is the best part, though, because on turn 2 they can just play that. You play cell, swing over, combo one unyielding, and they're like, "Wow, I have to like fight against 30k on turn 2 with no taps." Like, find like those kind of things really good against cell. And I also find them good against Janemba, which are the non-storm matchups that are kind of hard. Janemba just mills you very fast so that you can put that 7 in the grave, and like I said, you're on a clock against Janemba, so the few turns that you have, the more overwhelmed the better. Essentially, if they're going to mill your cards, you might as well make use of them. So yeah, I think those are, and I guess Nimbus for the mirror match, and Shenron OT, and any deck that plays Shenron OTKs that does the triple strike thing. If you have a Nimbus for that, they can only attack once. You Nimbus, and then they attack again, and you just survive the triple attack or take the 3 damage, whatever. But you're not dead.
Okay.
So those kind of cards are good for in a side deck, I guess. But it really depends what your meta is around you.
Absolutely. I think that's actually what you just said is, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but that is something that's so important. As I've seen so many players, when they build sideboards, they'll just copy, what they see on a deck building website or whatever, and really, especially with your sideboard, and I would argue even main board sometimes, you should really build your deck main based off where you're playing, right? If you know Jimmy and Tim are always playing that dang Android deck, then you should maybe put some stuff
side for Android.
Right, you should put some stuff in your sideboard for Androids, right? Absolutely. That's a fantastic tip, Jordan. Probably the best tip ever, and that's why you're the best guest today. Okay, so guys. Okay, so Ketnet999.
You got it, Jordan. It's okay.
Ketnet999 says, "I've got a tournament this weekend. What cards would you consider a main decked card against Storm?" So if you have this event, this is all 3 of you guys. I'll let you guys do this, and then we'll talk about my my Storm deck, and then we'll let you guys get out of here. I don't want to take up all of your guys' Wednesday evening here. So the question is, what do you guys think are decks that if you're building your deck to beat Storm, what is the card you're looking for? Miguel?
That's a hard question.
Pretty broad.
It's very broad, but yeah, absolutely.
I guess if you're playing yellow, maybe main Nimbus. But honestly, Nimbus isn't like that important. You can survive with Senzu Bean. Just make sure you're playing 4 Senzu Bean.
Yeah, I'd say Senzu Bean is like the one end all. Like, if you're gonna say what's the best card against Storm, Senzu Bean.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is for sure.
Okay, I agree with that. Yeah. Any other ones? Deadly Defenders? Any of the Deadly Defenders you guys think? You said Android Deadly Defender. What was it? Shocking Death Ball, another good card.
If you're playing red, the After Image Technique, I think that card's really good.
Yeah. Ooh, that card is sick. Yep. The red we talked about.
Yeah, Unending Awakening.
That one too.
If you're running red, then you got a good advantage. Like, if you're running the Baby Vegeta leader, you got the After Image to kill something. You got the leader to kill 2 Go-Tens. Like,
Revenge Death Ball too. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, you have a lot of answers with that leader.
And like, even especially Revenge Death Ball, a lot of people will forget that they play that kind of stuff and then just overextend on a swing and just get outplayed.
Yeah, that's what they don't realize. Like, they're still 10k base. They still die.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Yeah, okay, sick. All right, so guys, let's go over this deck. Be as brutal as honest you guys want to be. This is going to be a fun little exercise we're going to do. Plus, there's some cards we probably forgot to talk about, so we can talk about them when I pull them up here. All right, guys, here we go. So here's my the deck I took to locals this weekend, my Storm deck that I knew I was doing this video. I wanted to get somewhat educated about the topic. So starting off, I use Herudigan because I'm not a scrub that uses Trunks. So that's my leader. Get wrecked, Thomas. Next up, we have 4 Hidden Darkness Minosha. There's my boy, Hidden Darkness Minosha. I run 4 of this card. Similar to what you guys talked about. I love having his consistent blue energy. Plus, obviously, it's very good with Herudigan because if you pitch it with Herudigan, you can go get is it the 3-drop or 2-drop? It's a 3-drop. Is that what this thing? It's a 2-drop. The 2-drop 15k. Love this guy. Super good. Let you draw 3 off Herudigan in certain situation. Next up, 4 Bardock. Pretty good card we run. All right, there he is. Pretty standard, I think. I run 2 Grandpa Gohan. Is that what you guys run 2? Do you guys run 2 in your lists? Anybody run like 3 or anything like that?
Yeah, 2.
Okay, 2.
One of.
I honestly,
Do you run one of,
it
seriously?
down to 1.
I was thinking about. I was actually going to say the same thing. That's why Thomas said that. I was like, holy crap, because it's searchable. So I would actually probably rather run like 1 of this and 4 of the Searcher than run 2 of this and 3 of the Searcher, if that makes sense. But yeah, no, I like. No, I completely agree. Okay, next up for the super combo. There he is, my boy. Pretty good card, pretty decent, I would say, all around card. Just draws you 2 off a super combo, not a big deal. Next up, 4 Unyielding. Does anyone run 3 Unyielding? 2 Unyielding, 1 Unyielding, no Unyielding, right? Obviously, this is you're gonna run 4 of this guy.
If
fantastic
you can't find
card.
the 4th, then that sucks.
Yeah, absolutely. Next up is 4 of the Goten. Obviously, guys, this is just a package. Like so far, nothing super surprising here. But yeah, 4 Goten. I don't have any fancy Gotens like you guys do, all these Champions pack ones. Next up is you guys, I'd say it might be a little different than your guys' list. I run 4 of the 2-drop Goku, and this is a card I really want to talk about with you guys. To me, this card's absurd. I love this guy. You know, it kind of turns your Searcher into a draw 1 most of the time because you always have targets in your deck. What do you guys think about this Goku?
I really like that card. I actually wanted to play 4 as well, but I ended up playing 2 because I needed this other card,
right?
Dimension Magic.
I played 4. I know how good. I knew it was good right away, so I played 4. I just okay. It's searchable, replaces itself when you play it by Bardock. So I knew it was busted. And it pressures under after Sensuine on their awakened side, so or on the unawakened side. So I just I thought 4 was right.
Okay,
it's very good.
Thomas, do you run any in your deck?
I ran 2. Well, I ran 2 at Nationals. I went from 0 to 1 to 2. It's slowly growing on me. I feel like 4 is too much in my opinion because you have enough targets to swap. And I mean, after Successor, your Herudigan's gonna be after you get the first Bardock, your Successors are dead, so you got the Herudigan to pitch it. So I feel like 2, 3 at most would be a good number.
Good number. Yeah, we got Jordan Markle in chat says he runs 0. I love Jordan. Jordan's deck was like from like 4 expansions ago. He was just like, whatever, this is Storm.
I want my revenge.
Yeah, absolutely,
Rematch.
absolutely. Well, actually, if you guys saw the new new series I'm doing, it's gonna be probably gonna be on Friday starting in January. It's Fight Night series, and so what I'm gonna do is I pick 2 players and they play a conquest format match against each other, and then we have a guest commentator every week. So maybe you versus Jordan would be a great match for that. Next up, yes. 3 of the 2-drop Herudigan that you search from Minosha. I ran 3 because I really don't want to draw this card, but I think, how this card always worked for me is one of these 3 were always in my life. 100% of the time, it always happened. Do you guys, Jordan and Miguel, do you guys run 4-3? Do you guys run 4-2? Like, how do you guys usually put this card in your deck?
I ran 3-3 because I didn't want to risk it being in life.
Okay, so Miguel, you run 3-3. How about you, Jordan?
I ran 4-3 at Nats. But I actually probably would have ran 3-2 or 3-3. Looking back, I would cut for a Raging Spirit Gohan, but they are really good. 4 is perfectly fine. The thing is, it's really good against the Cell matchup and things like that. When they discard your hand, you can just refuel with the legs and the Minosha. And going, like I said, when you go second and swing and pitch a Minosha and search your legs, it's like you're drawing 2. It's like you're awakening. So it's really good to get off. If you get it off even once, it's just amazing. So I 4 for me personally. I think it's fine.
Okay. Oh, sick. All right. Next up, 2 Carrying Mother Videl. This card, I love this card. I love what it does. It says draw a card on it, so I'm immediately interested in playing it. But it just never really worked that well for me. And like I used it as energy, and I think I played it turn 1 once. Like I played Bardock into Videl pass, and then that's the only use I got of this card. She was my best yellow energy, I guess. How do you guys feel about Videl? Anything that you guys would change? Did you guys cut this card altogether? What do you guys think?
I would cut it.
Okay.
I think it does enough.
Okay.
Yeah, I would cut it. The only reason why, the reason I play 4 of the Goku is to get more swings. Like I said, an attack is a plus, right? So if it can't attack, I don't want to play it.
Makes sense. Absolutely. I mean, honestly, that's kind of what happened. Because, like, I mean, I have it in my hand. It's like I can swap into the 2-drop 15K Goku or Videl, who just draws me another card. 15K
like, what's
Goku
better,
every
drawing
time.
a card or making them take a life?
Right. Exactly. 100%. Anything to add, Thomas?
I mean, I guess it would depend on how many swap targets you're running. Like, in a Storm deck, I'd have 8 targets for swap 2. So if you run 2 Goku Dynasties, I'd run 2 Videls. If you run 3 Goku Dynasties, I'd run 1 Videl.
Okay.
So on and so forth.
Okay. All right. That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it does, actually. Yeah. Next is 2 Hidden Power East Supreme Kai, the old Double Striker guy. You guys run 2 of this too, or?
Yeah, I ran 2.
I ran 2, but I played Champa because I didn't want to get screwed by the ruling.
So that ruling is actually pretty cool because Jordan got me with it. He made it to where it was single strike, and that actually hurt me.
Yep. That is sick. Yep. Yeah, I like that you can do it. I don't like. I'll be honest with you guys. I don't like the ruling that you have to announce it. You have to choose the card. I think we can come up with a better solution as a community than your opponent attacks you. You have 2 life. They dump their whole hand. You're like, well, you didn't point to your card. It's like, okay, like
I like it because there is another option. Like, it's not like you have to play East Kai. You can just play Champa.
Sure.
But then like what Thomas says, if you're a more skillful player, which I am not, you can play East Kai and decide if you're gonna give it double strike. And like not giving it double strike is actually important. Like you can't just assume someone's gonna give it double strike because, like Thomas said, I bet you he would have loved to get double striked.
Oh yeah, at the time, of course.
Of course,
exactly.
Yeah, no, of course. Like there are times.
What if he had taken 2, and then Jordan's like, hey, I never gave a double strike, but
Right. No, I agree with you. I think that it should be clear what you're doing with the card. That's why I've always been a fan of whenever, after you've comboed and after you've attacked with the card, it should be required, in my opinion, that you tell your opponent, my card now has this much power, and it has these effects. It's now a double striker. It is now has critical. You should never hide that information. It should always.
I mean,
be clear.
yeah, you're
Like, that's
right.
That's
like,
how I feel.
They should just write. The way they write cards and like make the rulings is just
no, but I love
off.
that this card is situational, and for everyone who doesn't know that, this card you can choose to give a double strike or not. You don't have to give a double strike, which makes it, like Jordan was saying, very, very unique and versatile. Because sometimes you just need a 10K combo. You don't want double strike, and then you can blow Thomas out because he thinks you're double striking him. I love having you on here, Thomas. By the way,
it's okay. It's okay.
All right, next up, 4
Undefeated.
Defeated. You got me. Next is 4 Unbreakable Gokus. You guys, I know, Thomas, you said you don't run these in trunks, and you actually made it an amazing explanation of why you don't. But do you guys run 4, Jordan and Miguel, or do you guys run less? Or
I run 4.
4. It's one of my favorite cards.
Oh yeah, I love this card. Yeah, no, absolutely. Next up, I run 2 Mira. 7-drop Mira. This guy has been amazing. I think he's obviously one of the best finishers in the game. Well, I would say the best finisher in the game is Bad Ring Laser, but I think he is the thing that you win with. You guys run 2? 1?
Yeah.
Thomas?
Yeah, 2.
Yeah, I ran 2. Okay. Yeah, like I found out that Mira was just overpowered after Atlanta.
Yeah, I won every one of my games with Mira. Every one of my games this weekend was with Mira. And
yeah, Mira was just a clear cut.
It should be banned.
You think Mira should be banned? Let's talk about that. You think so?
I think so too.
Ooh, that's 2. What do you think, Thomas? Don't let them peer pressure you. What do you think?
I don't think so, because it's also an answer to a Deadly Defender.
That's
But-
just making it more broken.
I need answers.
Good answers. I don't think mirrors should be banned, but I'm curious to see what you guys think, because I think it has a lot of answers. You can negate it, you can block it. Like there are things you can do to it, right? It's not. I mean, obviously, battering stops you from that. I get it, but there are answers to this card. It's not like even Thomas said, deadly defenders. But Jordan, Miguel, why do you guys think it should be banned? Do you think it's just battering makes it too good? What do you guys think?
I was gonna say that. I think mirror is fine on its own in a vacuum.
Yeah, it's like the Champa and the battering.
Because there's Champa and battering.
Well, here's a question. Then so instead of touching Mira, do you just ban battering?
I was a fan of banning Champa like for a while.
Jordan's like, I'm still on Champa over here. We ban that too.
Before the second Champa came out, I was like, why are they? This needs to be banned. Like, this is stealing games all the time.
Right, it does.
So unfair.
Okay, I outrun one of Scientist Foo. This card, I didn't really use it that much, but there was certain situations where it was pretty nice. You know what I mean? You can play it out, draw 2 cards, put a little double strike pressure on your opponent. It's good if you need it in the game and you don't have the Kai, like you just got unlucky and they don't have them. Do you guys run Scientist? Obviously, it's good in Andre matchups too. Like you guys talked about, recovering from that is also fantastic. What do you guys think about Scientist Foo? You guys run these in your decks? Not really.
Yeah, I play one just in case.
Yeah, that's kind of what
I think it's matchup dependent. Like, in most matches, Scientist Foo is better than any other overall other than Mira. But most of the times, I feel like Mira is just enough. But Foo is just also nice. But it's not necessary. It's not. But it is very.
Yeah, I agree.
Very, very good.
This could probably be a third Mira if I really wanted to be, or just cut it for something else. Yeah, I think would be fine. But I threw one in there. But yeah.
But Foo is a good choice too.
Well, thank you. I have a YouTube channel. I'm pretty good at this game. So next,
too good, way too good.
yeah, right. You guys would obliterate me. Okay, so next up we have 3 Successor of Hope. Fun fact: I wanted this to be 4. I only own 3. So that's annoying and very embarrassing. Apparently,
gotta get good, man.
Yeah, apparently this is a rare. I didn't realize that. So I guess out of 3 boxes, I got 3. So what do you guys think of Successor of Hope? Do you think 3 is fine? Do you think 4 would have been better? What do you guys think? Do you guys run any at all? I mean, 2 is that the right number? What do you guys think?
I play 4, and there's a reason
why.
Boy. I think a reason people don't realize that's a good reason to play 4 Successor is that you can reset the cards that you put in the bottom of the deck from Goten.
Yes,
so
sir.
If you saw 2 super combos that you could only get 1, then you could potentially draw into another if you use Successor and shuffle your deck. You know?
Yes, sir. Yep, absolutely. Yeah. And actually, the Gogeta leader. I think is it the Gogeta leader? There was a leader I played Storm on stream, and when he attacks, he shuffles his deck. And I was like, holy crap, this is sick with Goten. Because you can attack with one Goten. If you pitch 2 cards on the bottom, you just attack or shuffle your deck, and now the other Goten can go get those cards you just got. That's a very, very good point, and I think it's something that's... I used to play Delver and Magic, and it was a lot about, like, you can shuffle your deck a lot. And so you would ponder the cards, to the bottom or whatever, and then once you kind of got all the cards you needed, you would just reset. You'd be like, all right, shuffle, or you'd pop a fetch land or whatever, and you would shuffle, and now you can reset and look for those cards again. So, yeah, I love that. Such a good tip, Miguel. What do you guys think? Anybody else about Successor?
I think 4 is right. I only played 3 at Nats, but I was playing 4 prior to the night of, and I cut it. But I regretted it. I wish I played 4. And what Miguel was saying is that how he used it to shuffle. I did that like most of the games. it was like. That was like the reason why I regretted not playing 4 is because I would see 2 sensu beans and I'd put them to the bottom, and I would like think in my head like, damn, like I wish I had another Successor to shuffle my deck.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. How about you, Thomas? You play them a lot too?
I run 3.
Okay.
Well, I mean, Huragan, I'd probably run 4 because you have the super combo to filter it. Like, okay, it's a free pitch. I mean, with my build, it's a dead card after so much.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So,
yep.
So in Huragan, I'd use 4. Trunks, I'd use 2 to 3.
Okay. Sick. Next up is 1 flute. It's because I can't run 4 of them.
You should cut that.
Yeah. Just take it out. You don't even need it.
Are you guys serious? You guys are serious? Okay, I was like, oh my god, what? Okay, so cool. Yeah, I mean, this card I thought was awesome. One play about this card I thought was really great. I saw on stream was it's a great counter to Crisis Crusher.
Yeah.
Crisis Crusher, there's back to their hand, which is pretty sick, and still keep going.
Just be happy Flute's not at 4.
Well, I mean, I am happy, but to me, this should have just been banned. I'll be honest with you. I don't like restricting.
Yeah, I
one.
agree.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of
think
that.
it should be banned.
It's a Saki card because it's at 1.
Right,
It
is.
should go to 1.
Yeah.
Or
It's also an answer to a blocker.
It's busted.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I completely agree. All right, next up, I run 1 Sensu Bean. I don't really like running 4. I don't think it's that great.
You're good.
I run 4. Yeah, it's fine. I run 4 Sensu Bean. Obviously, this card's amazing on offense, amazing on defense. We talked a lot about that in this podcast. Yeah, it's just a great way to extend your turn. Also, sometimes I do. You can do some pretty cool things with this card where you can like attack with your leader to try to fish out a negate. If you don't get negated, you could use the Sensu Bean like on your Goten. You know what I mean? It's like you don't have to use it on the target you attack with. Is something that I think a lot of people forget is that this is whenever you use this card, you can choose any battle card or leader card. You don't have to choose your like the one you're attacking with. But yeah, fantastic card. And then the last 2 cards is 2 Battering Laser, which this card is amazing. I love this card. This card is, like I said, I think it's the best finisher in the game. I think it's very, very underrated, and I think it's still underrated, even though it's obviously just amazingly good. If I had to make any changes to the deck, I'd probably cut both Adele's, add in 1 more Battering, the other successor, if I can find it, if I can ever get one, and then add in probably just a 3rd Mirror over the Scientist Food. But that's in my locals. Like, no one really plays any of the decks that those cards are good against. So, yeah. So what'd you guys think?
I wouldn't play 3 Battering.
You would what?
I would not play 3 Battering.
Okay. Why not? Tell me why.
You're only gonna ever need 1. You're not like if you're using 2 Batterings, you're probably like there's. What are you gonna Battering on a turn where you're not killing them is probably really bad because you're pitching a card. So you're only gonna ever need it once, and the other one is always gonna be dead. So you don't want 3 in your deck pretty much ever.
So ask your question: do you think it's still dead even if you're playing a Rudigan? Like you can just pitch it if you get too many of them, or do you think that's like kind of like blah? Who cares?
Yeah, that is kind of true, but like. I mean, it's not really the problem about after, like, when I have super combos. It's about before my hand is good. It's the problem with it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. No, I do.
Like, if I draw 2 Batterings in my opening hand, I'm going to be upset. It doesn't, like, sure, if I draw, like, turn, like, 3 and I'm, like, 6 attacks deep, digging for the 4th time and I see it, that's fine. But but it's the opening hands that really, that make... if you get a bad hand, you can lose. That's the only way you're going to lose.
Right, and it's not a battle card, so you can't pitch it with the Rudigan.
Rudigan on the front, yeah.
Right.
You have to wait till you're at 4, and that's... You open 2 bad rings, that's 2 cards that are not Bardock and Goten, and then you only have 4 chances for them to be a Bardock and Goten, and then one of those batterings is going to charge anyway, so...
Right. Yeah. And so, guys, what they're talking about is on the front side of Rudigan right here, the front side of Rudigan. It says, when this card attacks a leader card, you may choose 1 battle card from your hand. So it does have to be a battle card. I'm sorry, I kind of made that kind of misleading. What I was talking about was the super combo, the super, right?
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about. I'm sorry, but thank you, Thomas, for pointing that out. It's actually extremely important. Do not pitch battering off the front of your off your Rudigan.
They will call you out.
Yeah, you will get called out. Absolutely. I'm so sorry. But yeah, okay. That's actually a really good tip. I found out a lot of my games I was just digging for I would get them to, because if you can get them to like 4, a lot of the times, or sometimes even 3, right? You can combo your whole hand if you know you have Battering plus Mirror.
And then put it to 2, right?
Yeah, right. You know what I mean? And so, a lot of the times I was just digging for, that's like the piece I needed to win. So that's why I was about getting it through. But yeah, that's a great point.
But yeah, the digging thing is like what you do almost every game. You're like either digging for Champa or Battering. So, but if you're playing 2 Champa, you might as well only play 2 Battering and 2 Mirror.
Did you all run 2 Champa, or did anybody run 3?
Only ran 2.
Yeah.
That's everybody run 2.
First place played 3, right?
Oh, what a noob. Who's that guy? Jordan?
Yeah, Jordan Markle's deck was the most different, actually, out of everyone else's. And to be completely honest, Jordan's a really good player, so I guarantee this had something to do with it. But looking at his build, I'm surprised that he actually won nationals, because his deck is it looks like not Storm built like for the mirror. Looks like it looks like it hasn't been touched in a while.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly. Like when I played him, he had the Bardock Ape. I was like, "Am I going to?"
That's so weird. Yeah, like I haven't seen anyone drop a Bardock Ape in a while.
Yeah, yeah. So, any other changes you guys will make to the deck? Anything you guys would change?
to your deck.
Mhm.
I would add
you
4
guys are-
Raging Spirit Gohans.
Okay.
5-drop Goku.
5-drop Goku. You freaking troll. But
Dude,
yeah,
that card is so cool against mono blue decks.
awesome. I thought you guys would be a lot more.
Wait,
I thought
did
you
you
guys
play
would be
that
a lot
card?
more critical. I thought you guys would be a lot more critical.
Your
No one
deck
co-
looks a lot like mine. The only thing is missing is Raging Spirit Gohans.
Okay.
No. Do you play Planet? I can't remember. if
No,
you
I don't
showed
play
that.
Planet.
Oh yeah. Maybe one plan.
Maybe one planet. Do you think maybe just running like 2 planets over the Videls instead? Would that be
Yeah,
like? Is
yeah.
that okay?
You can add go to turn 1.
I just think you shouldn't run too many extra cards.
Right.
I don't like Planet at all.
I think it's okay because you can pitch it.
You can search it on yielding if you have to,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
and then that's just an extra on yielding.
Okay. Yeah. So my thing was I just want to attack you as much as possible. So I just ran as much attacking things. Like I don't run Nimbus main board at all either. Which I don't know if I don't know if that's bad or not, but it felt fine. I don't know. But
I've been on a no negate tip for a while. Like I haven't played a negate in my main deck in a long time. For a main deck, like for my fun decks, yes, but like
that's a question. Do you guys still think that Flying Nimbus is the negated choice, or do you think it is Dimension Magic now? Do you think you just take that out for Storm? Do you think it's better to have Dimension Magic than it is Flying Nimbus, or do you think it matters?
I think Dimension Magic's better against not in a Storm deck, but in any other deck in a mono blue, Dimension Magic is way better than Nimbus because Nimbus just guarantees you survive for the turn. It doesn't actually save you. Like it just saves you for that turn, and it doesn't give you any cards or like make them waste more cards. The only thing that happens after they Nimbus is you lost 2 cards, and they're gonna gain cards. But with Dimension Magic, you can kind of play it in parts where it's like not good for them to get negated, and then like you'll be able to untap things and super combo over things, and you'll be losing no cards while they're pressuring you, taking life. And if you survive, then you have a high chance of winning the game. When you Nimbus, their turn just ends with them searching twice and grabbing 2 super combos off the go 10 searches and then passing happily like, okay, clear my board, go ahead, because I lost nothing. But if you play Magical Dimension properly, you can do it like you can negate at a point where they're like didn't see it coming, and they've already pushed themselves too far. Mm-hmm. And if you catch them off guard or catch them and then untap 2 and then have enough negates for their other 2 or 3 swings, and you can kind of read who's going to stop. You can like kind of tell if they're searching for unyieldings to keep going. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And like depending on what blue they charged and like what cards they're tapping, and you can just kind of screw them over. But you can't do that with Nimbus. Like they're only going to get advantage when you Nimbus them. You're not going to be like on the crackback. You're going to be at a way worse disadvantage than with Magical Dimension. But in Storm, there's no time for that, so you might as well just play Nimbus. But even then, Nimbus is just like, it's like, oh, who Nimbuses first, who has more Nimbuses, and who has a battering. Like, personally, like I said, Sensu Bean's probably the best card in the game, but probably the best defensive card to Storm. So Nimbus is just kind of useless. Like and plus there's an out to it. They like literally main deck Nimbus, or sorry, battering. So what's the point of playing and tapping an energy for a card that you know is going to get outed?
That's the thing with negate. Like they're losing their effect because you essentially only want to negate against Shenron or Storm. Any other deck, you don't need your negate.
Yeah, it's useless.
Miguel, anything to add?
Yeah, because battering exists, I don't think.
Okay, I'm sorry, you cut out there. You said because battering exists. What was it?
Oh, I don't think negates are that great against Storm, anyways. Just because you have to play your negate at an awkward time when they don't have a yellow open. That might not be the best time to use it, but it might be your only chance. You have to make awkward plays like that.
Yeah. And then like even these sparking negates, they're like good, but like now it's even worse because they can just combo their whole hand plus their Champa to take you from 3 to 1, and then now your Sparking Negate's dead anyway. So
sure, yeah, that's true. Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. All right. Well, I'm just going to ask you guys just a couple more little questions, finish up, kind of catch up and chat here. And then, guys, we're going to let you get out of here. We ran a little bit over time, so I'm sorry I kept you guys so long, but you guys have been absolutely amazing. Seriously, guys, Jordan, Thomas, Miguel, everybody give a round of applause. These guys are amazing. Thank you so much for taking time out of your Wednesday to be here. It's just been so much freaking fun hanging out with you guys. You guys are all three cool dudes, and I hope you guys will come back again.
Of course, I appreciate it a lot. I'm sure we all appreciate it.
Oh, dude, no, it's my pleasure.
Man.
Dude, no, you guys have been amazing. I definitely need to get you guys on here more often to talk about stuff. You guys are all three down-to-earth guys. Okay, so the questions we have on here are, hey, Miguel, thoughts on Buhan? Any thoughts on Buhan, Miguel? From Edwin.
I think I know why they're asking that. Because I used to play Buhan.
Oh, okay.
Me too! Yeah!
That was my favorite deck. I love Buhan, but... Bible.
You're right. Connor Cox says, what would you guys rank the top 3 Storm leaders? We did cover that, man, earlier in the show. We said Hrudagon, Trunks, and then Krillin was the top 3, right? Did I get those right? That was the top 3 that you guys mentioned? Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with Jordan, go down the list, let you guys say your final thoughts, and then I'll do my little spill at the end, and then I'll let you guys say goodbye and we'll get out of here. So, Jordan, any last words?
You can't talk about Storm without talking about a ban list and where the future of Bandai, because this is about like their 4th really busted deck that they've let slip through, and I just want people to realize that you got to really be careful about what you're wanting banned or wanting limited, because I'm sure Bandai's listening, and if they make too many silver bullets, not enough decks are going to be able to be played, and if they don't do anything, then you're just going to have dominating decks. So if you lose Storm, you might really be saying in 2 weeks, I wish Shenron is gone. I want Shenron gone. So you gotta maybe try and instead of banning things, adapt to it. But I don't know. I really love the game, and I hope Swap doesn't completely ruin it. Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, me too. I love the game too, and I think those are valid points. I mean, like we talked about earlier, the butterfly effect is real whenever you do balancing. So, great points. And now, in my opinion, I say this all the time, unbiasedly, I think this is the best card game out right now. I think it's extremely fun. It has a great IP. It has the mechanics are the hardest thing to get down in card games, and this game has amazing mechanics.
It's very friendly for beginners. I've played like almost every card game. Just competitively, and I would say this is changing now, but I at first originally thought that this is the most skill-based card game out right now, maybe other than Hearthstone, but that's not, never mind.
Hearthstone, huh?
You played Power Warrior, didn't you?
Yeah. During its old days, but I played then, not now. But
Hearthstone's game. I've never wanted to throw my keyboard through the wall more than when I play Hearthstone.
No. No, that was stupid. But no, I
was judging. I'm just saying it's a very.
Dragon Ball's a really good game, really skill-based game, and you can tell because the same people are always winning. And
absolutely, that's actually something I want to talk to you guys about. Last thing, you guys talked about. You said you were surprised Jordan won based on his deck being so outdated. It didn't have any of the new cards in it. What do you think that Storm's success at Nationals has a lot to do with the familiarity of Storm, like the fact that it's just everybody knew how to play it, or do you think it's just that good?
It's just that good.
Okay,
I think it's both.
Okay, I agree, Miguel.
It's also the player. Like, there's players that you see in the top cut that every time they play, they use a different deck. Like,
no, absolutely.
No, I mean, the skill, the player's skill is actually, like, obviously what drives it, but anybody who, say, like, just, like, hasn't gotten there yet, who plays on, like, if I were to play him with any other deck, I could probably win. But if they were to play Storm and I was playing something else, they could beat me. Like, I'm positive during Nationals I beat people who were probably better than me, but it was because they were not playing Storm.
Okay.
And like, it's just a fact. Like, like, I'm good. I'm not saying I'm not good, but it propels you to another state where you just, some hands you feel unbeatable. Like, and
Sure.
There's no other decks that do that really.
No. So Miguel, you said you thought it was both. What do you have to say about that? Like, what do you think? Do you think now, if you think if Nationals was this weekend, do you think we would see a different 1, 2, 3?
I think you still see Storm somewhere in the top 3. I think when it comes to how you play Storm, something that's really important is how you sequence, and that can take some time to learn and be kind of player dependent. Depends on the player, how they think, and how they manage resources. I think that can play a big role in getting into like, making top cut might not take as much skill if you're playing Storm, but at least getting to like Thomas Jordan himself to like the top spots, trying to play as correctly as possible.
Mm-hmm. That's where skill comes in and how much you've actually like played to realize how much combos you can do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like
I'm sorry to interrupt, but my Facebook is kind of bugging here, and I got a question, and it looks like it's going away, so I'm going to try to read it before my Facebook crashes altogether. Sorry, guys. It says, this is from Jerome Nathaniel. He says, at Miguel, what local stores do you recommend and visit yourself near the LA area? I stay in SB. I don't know what that means, but I work around LA often.
Yeah, I highly recommend the locals that I always go to every Saturday. It's called Halo 13. It's at a mall, so
okay.
And it's a really cool area, and we're really chill. All of my whole team and I, we all hang out there. We always try to help out new players that we see, try to help them out. Friendly environment.
Okay, awesome, great, sick. Thank you. I'm so sorry to interrupt. By the way, it was crashing. I was like, I'm gonna forget everything he just said because it was very like geographic. Like, it had to do with specific names. Thomas, what do you think? Last words? Anything else to say before we get out of here?
Don't be discouraged about Storm. Like,
absolutely.
If you've played another card game, there's always going to be a deck out there that you're just going to get frustrated with. Like, it's just part of playing a card game.
Right.
If you're new, just know time will pass. There'll be Jordan said, there's going to be another deck people are going to complain about. Just let the time go and just have fun. The community is great. Don't make it toxic.
Absolutely. I completely agree, Thomas. I completely agree. These are all great words, all good advice. The community is amazing. My favorite part about these events is the community. Every time I go to an event and see, not only the people in the channel here, obviously you guys are all amazing, but just everybody, the players, the organizers, the staff, Bandai, everyone's just amazing. So yeah, definitely, absolutely. Miguel, any last words?
Yeah, I just wanted to say I really love this game, and I'm actually looking forward to the next round of regional. I hope there are more West Coast events. Yeah, just looking forward to see where this game heads.
Oh, me too. I really want that online client. Oh, I want that online client so bad. If we got one of those where you all can just play, oh my gosh, we have so much. True. I know. Jeez, I told Danny. Me and Danny always laugh about it, but I'm like, if there was an online client, I would play until my eyes bleed. Like, I'd literally just be like falling asleep. Like, I got to keep playing. Like, it's just, this game is so addictively fun.
I live on Untap. Like,
yeah. Where's our programmers?
Right? Yeah, no kidding. Right.
By the way, shout out to Untap. All my friends on Untap. Rip LOL. Yeah. You guys will know because I play you all the time. You'll always see me online, ready to play a game.
Hey, have you not my tournament? Huh? It's all Untap.
I didn't know.
Thomas, you have a tournament?
I didn't know about it.
I started it a week or two ago.
Oh, we'll talk about it. What the heck? Say something about it.
It was for the ARG. My team actually sponsored it. G Sports and Entertainment. We wanted to help out the online base because there's not everyone could go to an event, so we wanted to try and bring the event online. And I was actually going to personally ship out the mats to all the top 8 players. And give them more prizes.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
That's
dude. Why, man. I don't play with them that.
But that whole day, Matt, look at it.
Well, that's awesome. Well, yeah, Thomas. I mean, I'm sorry if I would known about that. I would have had you did it at the beginning of the thing. But if you wanna send me the information, Thomas, we're done here. I'll make a little banner and start putting it on my streams. That he'll help advertise it if I can. If there's anything I can do to help me, let me know. I'm so sorry that we didn't talk.
No. I appreciate it a lot. Yeah. Probably next one. Yeah, I'll definitely.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, anytime you need any kind of help, with advertisement or anything, let me know.
I really do appreciate it.
Dude, no problem. That's awesome. Big Papa the GS says, at Miguel, hope you come to Seattle with Stefano next month so we can get that Scouter Report / DBZ Dudes collab.
I want to.
Miguel's like, okay, I would like to do that. Awesome. All right, guys. So that's it for this episode of KTM number 2. These 3 amazing guests. Again, special thanks to Jordan Beard, Thomas Lippman, and Miguel, my boy. I love all 3 of these guys. These guys have been amazing. Again, guys, this is what we're going to do with this. This show will normally be on Thursdays, but because of the ARG event coming up this weekend, we couldn't have Fight Night Friday on Friday because everybody was going to the event that I asked to do the event. So instead, I had to knock everything back a day. So I just had to give up on Workshop Wednesday for this week. It'll be back next week. I had a lot of people message me about that. Workshop Wednesday would be back. You guys can watch me play decks and get stomped by amazing players like these guys all the time. Also, guys, again, special shout out to my 3 guests. Jordan Beard, thank you so much for being here, man. You're amazing. Just a fantastic player. Thomas, always a pleasure, my friend. Doesn't matter what deck you're playing, you're always seeing in the top table. It's just a great player. And Miguel, my man. I'm going to start calling him Mr. HD. I mean, his camera looks amazing. Thank you so much for being here, Miguel. And I hope you 3 will be back here again and will honestly join me for some other KTM talks. The idea behind this is to get people in front of the camera more often, let you guys talk about the decks and talk about things. I love you guys. Think you guys all need more exposure. Sorry, thanks for the stream. Thanks for the insight. No, dude, they are amazing. They did such a good job. I learned so much off of listening to them talk about the matchups. I think something else I was going to say, but it's probably not that important. Oh, tomorrow is the first Fight Night video, guys. It's a series I'm going to start in January. I'm doing a little test tomorrow. It's going to be Danny versus Marcel Russell. With special guest commentator George Machado. And what we're going to do is they're going to play in a conquest format. So what they have to do is they have to bring 4 decks of 4 different colors. So they have to bring, a blue, a red, whatever. They can't have the same color. And then they'll ban 1 leader from each other. And then they have to win 3 in a row. Like they have to win 3 games with each, or 1 game with each of their leaders. And then the first player to do that will win. It's very similar to Hearthstone. Jordan talked about that. That's how they do their tournaments. And they're always super fun to cast. And it brings a lot of variety to the tournament. My boy Big Boy says, hey, my build was broken, but nah, great stream. Dude, Jordan, we wish you were here, my man. We really miss you, and I'm so sorry that you feel bad. I hope you get better, man. That's the most important thing. And then you can continue to
get better, man.
Yeah, you can keep wrecking these guys with set 2 cards. So that's how you do it, definitely. All right, guys. So that is what's traditional with our stream. When I end the stream, I always let these guys say goodbye, and then I immediately end the stream. So, guys, thank you so much for having me. We love you guys so much. Thank you for the love, support. Thank you for continuing to support not only myself but the Dragon Ball Super Card game. This game would be nothing if it wasn't for viewers like you. So thank you so much for giving us the ability to be here and entertain you guys for a couple hours. All right, guys. I'm gonna count to 3. I want you 3 to say goodbye. 1, 2, 3.
Peace, y'all.
Later.